Blah, blah, blah. That is a very cute outfit. Seiya Tonami, a company employee in his 30s, has a routine spending his Friday night quietly drinking alone with friends, standing bar. His favorite standing bar, but one day after stepping in to help a university girl who was hit on, his peaceful evening starts to change. From that day on, he begins sharing drinks side by side. They talk a little bit about discoveries, like complaints and everyday moments, nothing special but her smile. Yet her smile besides him makes those Friday nights. Huh. She is very cute. The story of a cool, downer type university girl beside me at the bar. It's pretty cool. Sweet. Alright. How's everybody doing today? I'll read this one later. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling, acting? I didn't know your moots with Aura and Animeato. Yeah, Aura's been hanging around the streams. Great guy, nice guy to chat with. Very blunt about their scaling. And Animeato's a pretty chill dude. I gotta say, really have enjoyed many of the conversations that I've had with them. Hey Ali, happy freaking birthday! Can we get some W's for Ali? Some happy birthdays? Let's get some happy birthdays for Ali, man. Really happy that it's your birthday, dude. Happy freaking birthday to you, and I hope you've had a wonderful, lovely day. Yo, Ian, I've fallen into the pit that is the Pal World trading card game. Let's check that out real quick. There was something that I wanted to leave up for you guys in the background. I debated the Christian populist from Jubilee's The Split, Austin. Yo, I peeped this real quick. I know this isn't power scaling related, but this guy Austin Broughton or whatever the fuck his name is, completely unhinged dude. Really dislikes, is a self-hating black man who basically praises the white man for all the shit that they did to the African Americans and just the black community as a whole throughout history, and essentially trashes on his own people for whatever reason. Kind of crazy shit, but that's not really what we're talking about today. What do they call those? What do they call it when they have a figurine move little by little? It was shit. What is it called? Oh, I had some of these videos pop up for me a while back. I don't remember what the name was though. It was stop motion. Mech stop motion mech mech fights. Let's just throw these up in the background. I've been thinking of having something in the background for you guys to just, have and watch and stuff like that. Nothing that can really be monetized, but something that I can just have in the background while we yap about stuff. We can do this one for now. It's only 2 minutes long though. No, I need something a little bit longer than that. There was one mech transformations. Let's see what that. How long are these? We need. Oh yeah, there's probably something here that we can do. We need a rather long one though. Stop motion. Thank you so much. By the way, how is the Pal World trading card game? I never got a chance to ask you. Are you enjoying it? Did you have some fun? I'm not the biggest fan of the arachnophobia thing that's about to pop up here, but it'll be fine.
You're making me.
No, I don't want any voice acting. I just want some cool battles in the background. We'll just have this in the background for now for you guys. Just lower it for you. What's this one? Evolution Predaking. We'll just have that in the background for now. We'll just have that in the background for now for you guys. I'll be back. I'll probably look up a video real quick to see how you one plays the Pal World TCG. But for now, give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go get some water. I need something in the back. Alright, how's everybody doing? Alright, you ever read this manga called One Piece? Nah. One Piece? I never heard of it. Is it some like indie manga? Who's the developer? Who's putting out the manga? What's the author's name? How would someone impregnate Clippy? Who the fuck is Clippy, and why are you asking me whether or not you can impregnate? What's wrong with you? That is like the weirdest fucking thing anybody could ask me as I'm coming back. What the fuck? Alright. So, you have to read this manga. Yep. Okay. So, bit of an update. We are 2 hours and almost 25 minutes into the recording of Naruto versus Luffy. We are, kind of far into the recording of it. There's not much left. I don't actually know how much is left. Real quick, let me just double check that with you guys. It should definitely be like around this point, right? Okay, right here. I made like these little like slashes so I could figure out exactly how long. So I could figure out, like, I could just scroll down quickly and just find it. This is page 41. So we are 41 out of what was it, like 48 pages or some shit? Where the fuck did I start part 2? Part 2 starts here, so that is 1 out of, god damn it, about 53 pages. So I have 11-ish to 12-ish pages left. We'll get through it. Don't worry, we have about 11 to 12-ish pages left, so it should be fine. No issues. Actually, let's cancel real quick. Please tell me I saved. Please tell me I saved. Please, for the love of God, tell me I saved. Please tell me I saved. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank every fucking deity out there. Holy shit. Okay. But yeah, I got a viable deck. Just need a bunch of cards of a certain pal to make it super effective. Nice. I love that for you, Drake. I hope this blows up for you like the Kaido video. I hope so too, man. I hope that like somebody's seeing that it took 2.5 hours to almost 3 hours for someone to basically talk about Naruto versus Luffy in part 1. Somehow that grabs people's attentions like I don't know, like a scorned woman grabbing her cheating boyfriend's balls. You know, I hope that really grabs people. There is a will, as one would say. Someone genuinely had the will, it seems. Okay. How much of a boost will hockey give? The most common multiplier I've seen to my limited knowledge is 150 times, but it was gotten from a calcs which you don't use. I'll put it like this. I'll make this claim right now, and this claim comes entirely from my own opinion. It does not have an actual veritable number, but in general, I feel like one could easily argue, and I'll just show you with this singular feat. I just need to find it real quick. Somewhere around here. Okay. So Marguerite, right? Marguerite. I like Marguerite. I think she's a fine enough character, but I believe that can Naruto and Sasuke escape Ragnar? Fuck no. You'd have to argue that Sasuke's Amano Tejikata reach You'd have to somehow argue that Sasuke's Amino Tejikara reach is larger than the cube of ice that Ragnar can stick one inside, and you'd also have to argue that, I don't know, Amaterasu flames can somehow break through it, even though literally no one was capable of breaking through it. Even Emu couldn't break her out of it through one of his black flames. And you could argue that the whole point of the Amaterasu flames is that they're supposed to be like super hot, but yeah, no, just because it broke through some random ice in Kaguya's dimension doesn't mean that it'll break through Ragnar's ice. As far as like Naruto goes, maybe if you believe that the TSO just negate an existence erase, then sure. So, as I brought up before, this is Marguerite. She is a fine enough person, but she's not the most powerful character within One Piece. And yes, I say that she's not one of the most powerful characters in One Piece, even though she's easily cleaving through a stone, a boulder, with a single shot of her arrow, and she's blasting straight through trees with her arrows. The arrows themselves, as Luffy says, they can break through stone walls and stuff, and they must be hard, but then they just easily snap. The arrows are enveloped in Haki energy. That's what makes them so destructive. I would personally argue. Hey, what's up, Jeff? How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm back. As a little bit of as a callback to, again, the people that are just joining. We are about 2.5 hours, a little under 2.5 hours into the recording of the video. I have about 11/12-ish pages left. So, yeah, she can blast, she can fire through, let me actually look this up real quick. Luffy versus Marguerite. Luffy. What is the point of me clicking through this bullshit if it's not gonna... Oh, you just don't want to work then, right? Fuck you. Alright. I click on the thing, just fucking work. Why do I have to click on it 5 fucking times, dude? Luffy versus Marguerite. Let's see this real quick. Marguerite saves Luffy from drowning. Alright, we don't need any of this garbage. Okay, that's not it. Marguerite attacks Luffy. Marguerite attacks Luffy. No. Okay. So it doesn't fucking matter then. I'll have to look up the actual episode. My point with this is that a normal arrow, even if you go by real-world physics and science, a normal arrow cannot simply snap through a large tree trunk thicker than a human's body, far thicker than a human's body, really, and stone. Normal arrows, even shot with 10 times the amount of force from a bow, cannot in any way, shape, or form... There's no way anyone made that vid, if you mean JJK or Maki. Do you think Sakura beats Maki like everyone else? I think she could deal Maki a heavy amount of damage if she punches her. I don't know about beating her. Granted, Sakura has, like, next to no speed feats besides a singular sorcery feat, so do with that information what you will. Unless you think that sorcery somehow scales to, like, massively hypersonic speeds or whatever, which there's no evidence for that. You want me to check out the Discord announcement channel? Sure. Sumire was able to react to Ada's omnipotence, by the way. Sukuna negs Gojo, sure. The enemy made Loki's attack way stronger. It covered all of Elbaf. Cool. Eon, when he see... El Primo is live. Eon, when he sees feet. Alright. 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 What a fucking community I've got. The Sniffer is live. There is no way. There is no way I am now being called a sniffer, bro. Come on, man. It's not even that deep, man. Come on. Alright. Yeah, she barely has any speed feats, but I mean, if you can totally believe that Sakura can like speed blitz Maki, then sure, you are more than welcome to entertain the idea that she beats her. Otherwise, if you don't think she has any decent speed feats, then I don't know. It It is what it is. I thought it was pretty accepted that Naruto gets low dipped by Luffy at every point, yet Twitter seems to be another opinion. Well, it's accepted because it's accepted if you're like in this community, and I'm sure if you are in any other community that primarily talks about One Piece, it'll probably be really accepted. Most of the time, they're just echo chambers. However, I did want to, and let me actually try something real quick. I do want to try something out, but I don't want to actually have to sign in, and I don't know if I can join. I did want to look into some groups and stuff, but I don't personally want to join in on my. I don't want to sign in on my account, so I'm just gonna change up the screen capture for a second for you guys. Don't mind me for now. Yeah, don't mind me for now. I'm just gonna see if I can pull this up. Uh-huh. Can I look stuff up on Facebook without people necessarily... Okay, so I can look up stuff as long as... I can look up stuff... Okay. I can't look at the comments? Can I look at comments? Cool, I can. I'm allowed to. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And it's not telling me to join in or anything, right? That's good. That's good. Okay, I'll open up a couple more groups. Let me see. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah. And, let me, bring up one more. What's another one of these groups that I can bring up? Why is this one taking so long? Also, while I'm doing that, while this thing loads, I don't know why it's taking so long. Yeah. Let me just plug this into my PlayStation so I have a better connection. Yay. Okay. How the fuck did it move? How the fuck did this move on its own? Okay. Alright. Okay. I'm still not being asked. Cool. Cool. Sweet. Fascinating. So I do have to sign in. So I would have to... No, it's not this one. It's not this one. Let me... Where's my phone? Let me find something real quick. Let me check these as well. This is from one day ago. Okay. Do I have to really sign into this bullshit? Man. That would suck. Okay. I guess this one doesn't really matter. It's not the only one. Ah, Here it is. 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 Okay, I can change everything back now. One memento, please. Share my entire screen. Okay, so how's everybody doing? The anime made Loki's attack way stronger. It covered all of Elbap's islands. The majority of people think that Naruto wins. People that think that Luffy wins is in the minority. I remember when you read Bleach live on stream, when you got to the Yoroichi panel, you spent 1 hour. I was not doing that on screen. Don't even put that out there. Of course, the Yoroichi cheek pic was the first thing that showed up. It was the first thing that showed up because that was the last thing that Aura put. The Amazon Lily Arrow thing is actually what I've seen used for the calc that gets hockey to 150 times multiplier. Hey, what's up, Aster? Have you seen the Luffy slander as of recent? Naruto and Bleach fans are coming out of the shadows to hate on Luffy, losing to the #1 in the verse. It's Twitter. They would say Yuta is a fraud without proving it. W stream. Oh, appreciate that, Nacho. Not just them. One Piece fans are actually the happiest about it. Nah, Yuta is a favorite in JJK. Yo, Aster got a bag, reacted to announcement. Okay. But I still find it more interesting than the regular stuff, than the regular One Piece Reddit. A lot of people just think that Luffy has been on cruise mode since post-time skip at most, especially since Gear 5. Things have been a breeze. Plus, those guys just shitpost from what I've seen. I only use Reddit to get niche images for vids. No, I'm talking about Luffy losing. Like, I like that too. I mean, the amount of brain-dead slander they get, slander based on bullshit, is simply bad product. Bro definitely watched the Homelander scene from season 3. The Homelander and the Vought guy. They tried pushing Oda being a PDF. Don't defend them. Wow. Yeah, One Piece fans. By the way, did you beat Expedition 33 enhanced bosses in the Infinite Tower? No, I didn't. I don't think I beat a single one of them. I think I beat one of them actually. I think I did beat like one of them. I wasn't going for like the whole thing though. I don't know. Boss, I'm the type of guy that I like to cheese the fights. When it comes to like actually just having to learn all the patterns and shit like that, that's when I'm just like, oh, that just feels like a lot of work. So, when's my birthday? My birthday's in September. I don't know if I'll let you guys know the exact date. I think probably some of you know the exact date from last year, but yeah. So, I wanted to talk about an interesting little phenomena that I see throughout power scaling as a whole. I've been thinking about maybe putting it into the context of One Piece versus Naruto, not specifically from a like a versus battle thing, but more so from a interesting perspective, one of which is mostly just the context of bias that exists throughout many of these series. And I wanted to talk about mostly just how fascinating this like consistent circle is from it's anthropology, right? From like an anthropological standpoint, from a psychological anthropological standpoint, because a lot of like Naruto versus Luffy and just versus battles in general are just one big act in or just like one big action in or just one big example of like the concept of tribalism throughout media as a whole. Bro, YouTube ads are getting even worse. Ever worse. There's no skip button, and I can't even hear the stream with split screen ad pop up, but I just did on an Eon strat, put 2x speed on everything. Yeah, I'm telling you, just put everything on 2x speed. It just makes things easier. I tried to fight them, but they even too many HP. They have too much HP even after learning the fight. I just got bored of how long the fights were going on. Yeah, have fun with the Lamp Master and have fun beating Clea. You have to basically parry every one of Clea's attacks. And the Lamp Master, you have to basically beat multiple times. I got him down to like one time before I was like, alright, fuck this. You have to beat him, I think, like 5 or 6 times, and I was already out of like everything. I was basically out of like all my stuff by the time I got through like the second round. I was like, I'm just not doing this, bro. This is just not fun for me. I basically think you have to like min-max your characters by that point. Brave Browser? What's that? Thoughts on the 1,000-Year Blood War Season 4? I haven't seen cores 2 through 4. I think I've only seen core 1, and I think a part of core 2. I'm just not interested, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. And seeing, like, the shit that they added, apparently there was, like, a whole conversation that Kubo had during, like, one of, like, the more recent interviews. Kubo had a conversation with the, Kubo apparently was very impressed with the animation staff because they said that like they noticed that Kisuke Urahara, they noticed that like Kisuke Urahara during like the fight with what's its face, the death dealing guy, he uses a moment, a specific moment where apparently, like, in the manga, they, like, noticed or whatever that this dude was, like, using his stitches to, like, fly around or, like, move around or whatever. And they commented it, and they made a comment of it to, what's-his-face? Kubo, which he apparently said he was, like, super surprised or whatever. And the entire time I'm just thinking to myself, like, bro, that is such genuine horseshit. This motherfucker made some bullshit. They got like one thing from a panel, and this motherfucker's like, oh yeah, they noticed that. I'm very fucking impressed that you guys were able to notice this little intricate little detail that I threw into the series that I decided to do nothing at all with. And I'm just like, bro. Like, so this was the panel that they were talking about, because you can see a stitch right here. And so they apparently added like a bunch of scenes throughout the anime adaptation that essentially allowed them to like make a whole thing. And so Kubo was like, oh yeah, I'm so surprised you guys are able to notice this. I'm very impressed or whatever. And I'm just like, bullshit. Bro didn't do a goddamn thing with the fucking stitches throughout the entirety of the fight, besides like this one fuck-ass panel. And all of a sudden now you're telling me that like, oh yeah, Kubo had planned it out. They're actually imagining his vision in full-on display. Like, bro, I'm sorry. Eat a dick, bro. I can't do it, bro. I'm sorry. I can't do it, bro. Like, it's like, you know what it feels like? It feels like Mr. Satan or King from One Punch Man, where like as soon as they do something, or like Buggy the Clown, where like as soon as they do something, or as soon as somebody sees like something that Buggy or anybody else does, and they look at it as like super impressive, or like, oh my god, that was such a 500 IQ move. Like Buggy, King, what's his face? What's the first guy I named? Mr. Satan. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, totally, that's right. You've 100% figured me out. This is exactly what I was going for. You guys totally get my exact vision, man. Like they'll just blow something completely out of fucking proportion, bro. I don't know, man. I just thought it was funny, but hey, Kisuke Urahara's getting at least a decent fight, and one of my biggest complaints for the anime was just completely handled, so whatever. It is what it is. Just a minor complaint on my end. I think it was complete bullshit. I do not believe in the slightest bit that Kubo actually planned Kisuke to like move around and use the stitches to fight or all that shit, but yeah. Maybe that's just my own headcanon, but yeah, I don't know. It felt like a Buggy / Mr. Satan moment, dude. So yeah, the slander on Luffy is just zany. Acting like Luffy losing to the biggest bad guy makes him weak or bad. It really feels like tribalism is at an all-time high. Yeah, by the way, and I'm not saying you guys should do this. I'm not saying anyone should try this out, but I find it so funny that, like, we're willing to look at a whole situation of, like, okay, we're willing to look at a whole situation where, like, Luffy's being stabbed by a sword that is literally ripping out, you know, that literally rips out, that literally steals life force, right? That is quite literally stealing life force or whatever, and yet Naruto over here is getting, the Nine Tails ripped out, and he's all of a sudden, like, in critical condition, about to die mode. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, bro, you could literally bring up any fucking panel from any point in these series and say, like, oh yeah, these characters are trash because, oh yeah, they're chain level. These characters are chain level, and then Naruto fans will say, oh, that's total bullshit. Classic One Piece fans bringing up some bullshit that they clearly know nothing about. Those chains were special chakra chains made from the husk of the Ten Tails that's specifically designed to like absorb their power or whatever, so that the Ten Tails can be truly born. And like it's so powerful because like Naruto quite literally couldn't do anything about it. That's how powerful these chains were. Like it just completely prevented them from doing anything. And it's like, okay, well, so did the Zord. Luffy was fighting the strongest bad guy from the entire context of the story. There is no difference. The same thing here. If you're going to downplay something, you can downplay this. You can downplay the time that Naruto got stabbed by a sword. You can downplay the cataclysm because it's just lightning bolts and tornadoes hitting the Alliance and everyone was going to die from it without Naruto giving them a cloak. You can use a lot of things, and I'm not saying anybody here should go to any of these groups and do it. I'm just saying, in the same way that you can disingenuously bring up a feat and say, oh man, look at how pathetic the character looks. Look how stud Naruto is. It's like, fuck, dude, I'm about to die. It's like, you can do the same thing, dude. I don't know why people do this shit, bro. And here's the thing, right? It's genuinely, to me, Fujimoto and Gege are just like, oh, nice, when the staff would extend a manga fight And Kubo is amazed over this. Yeah, he's impressed when they tell them like, oh yeah, so did you like think up of this like 10 years ago when you wrote the manga? And Kubo's just like with like the most smug face, like, yeah, of course I did. I mean, come on now, I'm T-Day Kubo. Why? You two really think that me, the genius who wrote Bleach and all of its awesome moments, didn't think up of this tiny little detail? Like, come on, man. I don't know. Whenever Kubo says that kind of shit, I just feel like, dude, I just feel like, yo, you are really blowing hot smoke here, my friend. You are really just taking whatever anybody says and just running through with it, right? All right. We can talk about Naruto and Ichigo be losing too. Yeah, exactly. You can talk about how Ichigo gets stabbed by a guy and he's hand level, or how Ichigo gets a hole put in him, he's now hole level. Ukiura puts a hole inside Ichigo's chest. Ichigo is donut level. Like, I don't know, man. It's like the slander that One Piece gets is in my opinion, it's very pathetic. In my opinion, it is genuinely, far and away, extremely pathetic. And I know it's supposed to be a joke. I thought the sword level thing was a joke. One Piece has been have been used to this since the start of the series and been hurting people, and people never brought this up. Yeah, no, but they need to bring it up now, because now that the One Piece community, specifically the power scaling community, is doing more and more to comment on how powerful One Piece characters are, on how far they, on how much they, on what the feats are like, on what the statements are like, etc., etc., etc. We started to reach like these conclusions that these characters, these fights, it's like you have to essentially find whatever way or however logic possible. You have to find a way to make the characters seem weaker, because like, yeah, look, nobody ever argued that Luffy wasn't hook level, right? That Luffy was hook level back when Crocodile took him out, right? Like, nobody ever argued that Luffy was hook level, or that he was I don't know, sand level or some bullshit because he lost to the big bad guy, or that Luffy was finger level or or leopard level because he lost to fucking Rob Lucci of all characters. It's because, and this is my theory. I'm not saying this is an actual fact. I'm not saying this is an objective truth of the matter. I'm just saying that from my perspective, especially as someone who sometimes joins these groups, even ones like, I think like one or two of these, like I'm not necessarily like joined in on, but like sometimes I do, but since they are public things, I sometimes just like peep them out real quick. And I do notice a lot of the comments on many of these things. I've been popping in and out of them for like a couple of years now. And I do see many of the comments, and I do see like, yeah, many more people from like 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even a year ago. A lot more people are now coming to terms with the idea that like One Piece characters are extremely close. This guy blew up a galaxy left and right. I can't fucking dodge his attacks. Low multiversal AP with galaxy level DC. Low multiversal AP with country level DC. This is bad. A lot of ignorant takes and post and completely misunderstanding AP and DC. True, I'm fed up with Bleach fan. Ichigo's sword clashes don't even destroy the room sometimes. They all swear he's as fast as light. They even rank him above hacks users. Like he has a counter to hacks, yeah. Like, there's a lot of comments that I see throughout many of these things where I'm just like, okay, right? Like, let's bring up, I don't know. Let's see this one right here, right? Like, this one right here, somebody made with AI. They both jump off. And, actually, I didn't even see this one until, like, right now. So they, like, both jump off or whatever. And they says, Goofy didn't realize he posted Edo Tensei. He most definitely surviving that. Edo Madara would survive that. Can we go one day without these stupid posts? False. Naruto and Sasuke survived a 50,000 meter fall, which is about 31 miles above the ground. But Madara would beat Kaido in a 1v1. I don't know what they're referencing. When the fuck they fell down that kind of height. I don't know what the fuck they're referencing from that. Edo Tensei, Madara will just arise and say that barely tickled. Some of this is missing the post. Oh, it's Edo Tensei, Kaido. Yeah. Kaido, Madara can fly. Now they saying this. They're different. You're putting a ninja against a pirate who ate a double fruit that makes him more durable. Make it make sense. Madara's reanimator or would completely nag and turn him into Jubidara. So in that sense, Madara would still survive. Gotta stop commenting when you run into posts like this. Just press the 3 dots, not interested, and then reason being scammed or don't like the person, make sure to submit and you'll never see it again. Yeah, all that stuff. Has no chance of surviving a light shoulder shrug from Kaido. Yeah, like you start seeing more and more people post stuff about like Naruto characters not being able to survive half the shit that One Piece characters do, or One Piece characters having like some complete outstat in terms of like the physical realm. So you kind of create like this scenario where like, okay, well now they have to find a way to like downplay Luffy or make fun of him by simply arguing like, okay, These characters are trash. These characters are terrible. What do you think about the Relevancy League? Do you think only Goku makes them relevant? What are you talking about the Relevancy League? I don't know what that means. But yeah, this is just kind of like my two tidbits about it. It's just like, it's not even really like it being like a funny joke or an interesting like debunk or anything. It's really just more so that like it's the necessity to downplay One Piece because more people are now accepting the idea. More people are now accepting the idea that One Piece is stronger. It's still hard for some people to admit it, but some people are now accepting the idea that One Piece is stronger. Therefore, we now must find a way to like pull them back in, to nag them, to pull them back in, to ground them a little bit more, so as to still make the arguments that Naruto characters win. It's kind of intense, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, that's kind of my whole point with it. Specifically, it was called the anti-Luffy sword. Nothing would change at all. Yeah, even if it was called the anti-Luffy sword, even if it was stated that that sword specifically is designed to counter all of Luffy's abilities, it doesn't matter. The context of any of these situations don't matter. And this is kind of what I wanted to talk about before, about like a very this whole like tribalism, this whole like really interesting this whole interesting dynamic that many of these groups share. Many of these dynamics that many of these groups share, where like a lot of them essentially create this scenario where, for example, one guy right here, Aizen Sosuke, a Bleach fan, I guess, makes a comment right here that no thanks, I use AI, so they're making fun of Naruto, guys, which then has more people say that Narutards are like that, which then has somebody post a picture, which then has somebody eventually make an AI image juice or whatever. Somebody has to make some other AI image juice, now talking bad about either One Piece or Bleach, and then it becomes an endless, so then more people comment on that, thus making an endless cycle. Somebody makes a post about, I don't know, somebody makes a random post about, let's see, well, a lot of these are actually versus battles, not bad. Let's see, let's switch groups. Spider-Man, hard pass on Spider-Man cucked New Day. That's crazy. I'd rather be a villain in your anime. Alright. Are you dealing with Naruto fans? You'll destroy them with logic. They go, and little, yeah. So, like, you come right here and you say, like, for example, Bleach characters can't see Limbo. Plain and simple. They don't exist on an accessible plane to Bleach characters. Cope isn't an argument. So then another guy says, live inside controlled shadows. They live inside controlled shadows. Shadows do not equal shadows because God mod Freds do something, so you're conflating two different verses. Then they bring in some random posts, so then you have essentially people go with these like crazy little back and forths, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's rather fascinating to me, right? It's like this, it creates this little feedback ad nauseum. Like some guy here says, the whole argument about Rudeus being mentally an adult, oh no, that's some other shit. Where the fuck is it? Luffy or Naruto understanding Dao first, they're stripped of their powers and dropped in yeah. Toei's ruining One Piece animation again. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Why do Bleach fans think Limbo clones are invisible to Bleach characters? I will never understand. Why are Naruto fans believe that character who exists in Limbo, who have invisible eyes on each chest or whatever? Yeah. Is Bleach anime worth watching? Ayo, I finally caught up with One Piece and I'm not stuck in the painful waiting to the next episode phase. I've never watched Bleach, but I've seen a few clips. How's the pacing? Is it worth starting off? Uzumaki clan role and strength in the actual series clarified. Imu blocked this attack with one hand, by the way. Maturity is realizing that both Bleach and Naruto are better than One Piece. Oh yeah, I've seen posts from this guy. So then you have, it's getting to the point where people who hate on One Piece are the only ones talking about it. There we go. This is one of the posts that I was referencing. Maturing is realizing that your personal opinion and stats show otherwise. One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. My opinion, but I don't hate one of them steadily. Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. Like I said, your opinion, but stat sales, popularity, and other categories like story characters, world building says otherwise as One Piece tops in most of these category. It's not an opinion. In fact, alright. Bleach is trash. The pacing is terrible, especially with the 66% filler all over the place. Why am I watching Ichigo run through a hallway for 15 episodes straight? Then he actually starts fighting. He just spams the same move over and over and again during the 6-frame low-quality fight with the opponent saying Ninyo. I don't know what Ninyo is supposed to mean. Every 5 fucking seconds for 10 seconds straight. The art style is stuck in the 2000s. I've skipped like 6 seasons of useless filler and stuck in part 2 of Hueco Mundo. One Piece fans talking about pacing. Bleach is the one and only I'm stuck on, and I've skipped some of the arcs because they're boring to me. Yeah. So then they start attacking each other. Maturity is not arguing about how stupid childish shit anymore. Love what you want to love. It's an opinion that's maturing when you realize it's just an opinion. People are going to like what they like, and the lists are going to differ. Yeah. So yeah, you guys can see it. Like, many of these posts just kind of do all this fuck shit, and it's just kind of tedious, right? I see, what I'm saying is, I see a lot of the arguments that you guys see and a lot of, like, the complaints that you guys have, because I see many of these groups, whether it's on Reddit or whether it's on social media sites like Facebook, right? It's weird, honestly, to the extent that people will try to push certain narratives for their favorite story just because they just don't like, they just don't like another story, and I think that's really what it is. JK, I got 1, 2, I'm pretty sure we're close to the same age, but I would never stop calling you an old man. That's crazy. By the way, the latest Spider-Man was great. I love that. Love that you loved it. Could Luffy defeat Ichigo at the end of story? I would argue it'd speed blitz the fuck out of it. Since you're talking about Bleach, today's Q&A, Ria's 4.8 kilometers, so Karakura Town is now 6 miles or 9.6 kilometers. Cool. So Karakura Town is tiny as fuck. Cool. So Karakura Town is like 9.6 miles. Cool. 9.6 kilometers. That One Piece down players don't even have arguments, just slander and ad hominems. Kind of pathetic, peak childish behavior. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like, I genuinely think that to some extent, a lot of the things that these people try to argue is extremely fucking pathetic. And I don't even say that to, like, be mean or anything. I say that, and I don't say that to, like, try to push, like, a certain, like, agenda forward, but it really does, by the way, Castlevania, I do agree that the black designs for, like, Castlevania are among the best I've seen for a long time. Like, a lot of these characters really do look great. I love how there's, like, one of very few characters that does go with the whole, like, dread motif. And not because I don't like them, I actually do very much enjoy a look like this. But I like a look like this when not every single black character has to have them. I like that they have a bald guy. I like that they have a guy with just your regular hair. He just tied it up at the bottom. And I like how she wears, essentially, like, a true afro. I do like this kind of stuff, man. She looks so good, right? Fuck out of here. They don't disrespect the non-10 characters like that by making them... Alright. Alright. Yeah, all I'm saying is there's a lot of, Oh yeah, right here. Why is this group in so much chaos? I'm both a One Piece and Naruto fan. I love both of them, the general writing and the story they cover, and I humbly say that One Piece is better than Naruto, but not because... That's not only its story, but when it comes to power scaling, it's entirely a different case. Depending on who you match up with who, because most of it would be won by Naruto. Let's try Luffy versus Naruto for an instant. I know that most One Piece fans don't want to admit it, but here's the truth. Raw power, it's Luffy. Durability, it's Luffy. But battle endurance, Naruto all the way. I would 100% disagree with that. Luffy doesn't recover. Actually, he does. The zones are literally stated to have a healing factor. Combat speed, Naruto, believe it or not, Naruto doesn't stretch his hands in order to punch because every few seconds counts when you're a ninja, unlike One Piece fighting style, where you have free time to charge up your attacks. Which is not common in Naruto. What do you mean? They literally have to charge up giant fucking blasts of explosions just to do half the shit that they want to do. Like, people are downplaying the One Piece at the latest episode, saying that the over-animation is an anti-feat despite of how attacking swept mountains. Yeah, I don't know, man. By the way, the latest Spider-Man was great. To be fair, we actually have a pretty understandable reason why we downplay One Piece. But One Piece fans just seem to be a bit excessive and forced. Can you explain to me what is the understandable reason? Like, what is the reason why you downplay One Piece? I would absolutely appreciate it if you could give me what the reason is. Are you in this group track now? Okay. Both sides look generally pretty superficial and toxic regardless of who's right. At least that's the impression I got. No, both sides are 100% fucking in the wrong. And that's the thing. I'm not even arguing. I'm not even arguing that it's just Naruto fans. I'm saying that every single one of these communities, the Naruto community, the Speed community, Sorry, I saw speed right here, and for some reason I was looking at this comment right here, and I thought speed for a second. Eon loves bald guy confirmed. I don't know, but sure. Sure. Naruto fans, One Piece fans. Hell, I'll say it. One Piece fans. Naruto fans, Bleach fans, One Punch Man fans, Hunter x Hunter fans, Dragon Ball, they're all toxic. Everybody is toxic. Everybody has toxic fans in the community. It's not Bleach fans being chill on the side, just talking about how great their verse is. They'll make slide remarks at Naruto and One Piece as well, and then they'll be like, oh, why are you coming at me, bro? I'm a Bleach fan. Bleach fans don't say or do anything crazy. I would absolutely, I love all of these series. I've never once talked badly about it, even though they make comments about Bleach still being the best one, and then the best animation and the cleanest art style and all that shit. Or Dragon Ball fans talking about how about how Goku solos every fucking verse, even though it's not even that common anymore. Or about how One Punch Man fans say that like Saitama beats Rimuru and Anos Voldigoad and Goku and all these characters. It's like we're all fucking toxic. There isn't a single what is this Facebook group talking about? This one's specifically Naruto versus Luffy. This one's Real Weed Death Battle, and this one's LNS and Everything Anime. These are one of these I am a part of. Two of these they do pop up for me now and again because I mostly just look at like power scaling comments on Facebook at this point. So yeah. Anyway. My whole point with this is that like every single one of these fan bases is fucking toxic as fuck, and the One Piece fans that'll bring up random feats for Naruto to downplay Naruto are just as toxic as the Naruto fans that are going out of their way to post sword level Luffy, because it's all fucking pathetic. Every single fan base and every single one of these people that go out of their way. Like, alright, this guy right here, right? I've actually seen this guy's comments a lot. He's right here. Naruto mountains versus Loki's destroyed mountain size comparisons. If someone needs a reference to how big these mountains are that Loki accidentally eviscerated, seen someone say that the mountain Madara's cuts are the same. No, they are not. Elbaf trees are Naruto mountains. With this info, we can get heavily injured base Loki to Continental Plus. Hope this helps. Oh, it's huge. Are those mountains? It's the size of an island. No, even bigger. You always just stretch out One Piece scaling too far. I don't even know why you love to consistently do that. I'm not sure how concluding Continental Plus from Nami's statements. Loki's the size of a country. Simple. Loki is the size of a country. Let's see what the hell everyone else comments. That's great, but he just destroyed multiple island/country-sized mountains stated by one of the best navigators in the world. His DC is Continental, plus in base heavily injured. I would probably scale Nidhogger, Thorheim to multi-continental, though also Loki is nerfed here. We see a sea stone cuff on one leg. Technically, he isn't supposed to be launching attacks at all. You just proved me right to say that you always stretch out One Piece scaling too far. Your very own post screenshot says Nami saying bigger than an island, and your conclusion it must be country. It's a vague island plus measurement. Speaking of which, including her position as navigator doesn't help her change anything since she's just a navigator, not a land surveyor, even though she makes literal fucking maps, bro. Like, her dream is to draw a map of the entire world. Not saying that makes her an expert. Not saying that makes her an expert. She has some kind of knowledge. Like, this is the problem that I get. People like this are constantly finding every reason to downplay what a character says or does, and they don't even notice it. And it's for One Piece fans as well, right? Like, One Piece fans will also say that I don't know, the Ten Tails' Cataclysm is like a village level feat, and I'm like, bro, okay, listen, I'm someone who says that the Cataclysm is country level. I'm not sitting here and saying that like the Ten Tails can't blow up the fucking Leaf Village, but like, come on, no. Saying that it's village level is kind of crazy. Saying that the Cataclysm is like a city level attack is also kind of crazy to me, even as someone who tries to actively give Naruto the scaling it deserves. It's just a tad justified for Naruto fans because it's just a matter of upholding quality. If you're a really good Lamborghini and you see a bad car, I'd call it out. Same for us. We have that privilege. No, you do not. That is the most... I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, Konbun. And just to answer somebody's question from earlier, because I know that, who was it? Konashi says, where do you scale Naruto in terms of speed? Vaguely above light speed. Naruto is vaguely above light speed to an unquantifiable degree. But if I had to give you an answer and I had to wank the fuck out of Naruto as an adult, if I gave Naruto the most wanked out perspective I can give him, 100 times faster than the speed of light if I give him every benefit of doubt. Like, if I think that Naruto is Lightspeed in base form, 100 times Lightspeed. That is the farthest I'm willing to give him. Plus, I've almost never get ads on stream, which is why this is annoying till today. I can't skip them anymore. That's weird. I always notice that the numbers in stream go up when you crash out over this stuff. Yeah, it does. But anyway, going back to this point, I don't know. I feel like if you as an individual, I'm going to be so honest with you, Konboom. If you as an individual if you had an actual Lamborghini and you looked at somebody with a bad car and you call them out for it, that makes you a terrible fucking person. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, talking about being someone who was blessed enough to own a Lamborghini and then either making fun of or commenting on another person's car, even if it's not a bad car, even if it's a fucking 2024 or a 2020 Honda car or a Toyota or whatever fucking car from like 2020, 2015, 2010, even if it's a fucking 97 Honda Civic, if you actually are if you genuinely feel that you as an individual, especially because you have a nice looking car, you can call somebody out for that shit, that not only speaks on you as an individual, that speaks on the type of person that you are, but anyone with a decent moral compass would literally look at you and say, what kind of an asshole makes fun of somebody else for having a bad car? Now, your analogy, for one, doesn't even remotely compare to Naruto versus One Piece, because the actual Lamborghini in this example would literally be One Piece. It's made more money, it's outsold it's outsold Superman, you can't even deny that. It's literally outsold Superman. It's got way better world building, it's got all of these things that completely put it above Naruto, and the only thing that you had to say about that was some garbage about quality, which again, One Piece does have over Naruto. So, before you come into here saying that it's justified to downplay One Piece for any fucking reason other than I don't like One Piece, not only are you being disingenuous, but you're also going to show that you have an inherent bias that prevents you from actually seeing things for what they are. So with that being said, what the fuck are you guys talking about with Brave and stuff? What the fuck are you guys talking about? You guys are bringing up some random BS. You guys are bringing up some random BS about Brave now? After that, Project Manager create. Adblocker doesn't exist on PlayStation, and why should I buy Premium? I always notice that the numbers creep up. Premium is pretty worth it, though. You watching it on PlayStation, Last Crew, HOA, Inspector. Also, by the way, homeowners associations can all go to a very bad place. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck the homeowners association. Wait, One Piece outsold Batman, not Superman. Yet, unless they did recent. Yeah, no, they did recently. It outsold Superman. One Piece. Let me just show you that real quick. One Piece outsells Superman. I don't know about the Bible. Yes, One Piece has reached over 600 million copies sold worldwide, officially tying or surpassing Superman to become the best-selling comic book in the comic book series in history. It achieved the milestone in under 30 years, whereas Superman accumulated an estimated 600 million copies over nearly a century since 1938. Yeah. One Piece using their side characters better than Naruto, just saying. Superman and Batman also has a live-action show, a theme park show, sponsoring and major sports organizations. Yeah, like, listen, all I'm saying is don't ever come at us from a context of quality or of quantity, because One Piece completely curb stomps, puts its neck on Naruto and Bleach's fucking manga-like necks. Like, if it's as good as you'd say, then why do you see a wide number of people not liking it? Because people are allowed to not like it. You realize, Konbu, that from an objective standpoint, it is 100% irrefutable that there is no story, there is no piece of media, there is no one singular thing on this planet that is universally beloved by every single person on the planet. You cannot make a single damn thing that 7 billion people will each individually love. Hell, even the fucking Bible is not beloved worldwide. And that shit is the most fucking beloved book in all of fucking in all human history. Not beloved. It's the most well-sold book in all of human history. So don't come at it. I'll tell you, bad art style, goofy characters, noticeably weak / overhyped. And those are all your opinions. And you are allowed to have all of your opinions. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that it is an objective fact that One Piece is bad because you and a couple of other people don't like it. Especially when, from an objective standpoint, it has quite literally outsold your favorite series How many copies has Naruto sold worldwide? 250 million. So yeah, the fact that One Piece is literally sold over twice as many copies than Naruto, yeah, I would argue. I would 100% argue. That yeah, more beloved, 100%. This may be a personal question you are allowed to not answer. Are you religious? Fuck no, I'm not religious in the slightest bit. As far as I'm concerned, the Bible, the Quran, any fucking religious text is nothing more than another book to me, and everything that's written inside those books is essentially nothing more than a story. I have no issues with religion as a whole, but I refuse to believe in a God because I have no objective reason to. I don't believe in the concept of faith. I personally, I don't believe in the concept of believing in something that just doesn't exist. From a logical standpoint, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I do not, however, make fun of or challenge anyone's personal beliefs because ultimately those are your beliefs to have, and that is your relationship with your own personal creator or creators, plural. We need to reform the whole pop culture media. Listen, there's a whole bunch of issues with pop culture and media that needs to be reformed that isn't just people downplaying one another. I used to argue with my cousin who said my boy Kakashi is trash and never defeated any other character past Zabuza, and he was right. Kakashi technically kills Kakazu, so I don't know about that. He also does technically defeat Zabuza and Haku at the same time, in the war arc. I guess he doesn't beat Pain. I'm trying to think. Who else does Kakashi technically fight? You could technically say that he, alongside Naruto, Sasuke, and Fugaku's daughter-in-law, they all technically did defeat Kaguya. What if I can give you an objective reason to believe? You cannot. Unless you can give me objective evidence that one of them exists, there's no way I will even remotely choose to believe it. If there is even a slightest bit of doubt, or there's even a slightest bit of a counter argument that I can make, then absolutely not. There's no way anyone can convince me. You would have to give me objective evidence that a god exists. And if it's something like, well, look at sunsets. Sunsets look nice. I'm sorry. You're not gonna get an answer. I'm gonna give you an answer you're probably not gonna like. And I really do mean this without any respect. And I really do mean this without any kind of disrespect to anybody's religion. Okay, your religious statement. I could say I'm atheist. Okay, that would mean I don't align with religious views. You can't really fault me for putting down someone's God belief because it's ridiculous. I can 100% do that because that is something that is very near and dear to another individual. And I say this as someone who used to do that in his early 20s. I had conversations for literal years with a friend of mine who is Christian and does believe in God, and we would go back and forth about statements of the Bible and the Testaments and the New Testament and the Old Testament and all that stuff, bro. And I'm telling you straight up, right? I am telling you straight up, it is completely fucked up of an individual to say that someone else is God, something that they hold very near to them, something that they have genuine faith in, to say that shit, to actually put it down and to make fun of it or to attack it or in any way, shape, or form, because again, that just goes to show that you as an individual do not care about how other people feel about causality. Do you mean casuality? Casuality? Oh, causality. What do you think about causality, you mean? Causality. I believe in chaos theory. I believe that every single action that we make in some way, shape, or form is randomized. Every single... I don't believe in such a thing as fate. I don't believe in such a thing as... I believe in free will. I believe that every single action that we take, and the reason why we are currently where we are right now, why you are sitting where you are sitting, where you are standing, where you are doing every single action that you make has been due to an incalculable amount of actions, is due to an incalculable amount of random actions that human beings, that creatures, that life forms and living organisms have done since the beginning of time. From the moment that the first single-celled organism decided to split to right now, to this very second, right now that I'm speaking to you, everything that we have done is some randomized action or some either randomized action, instinctive action, or knowledgeable action that a human being has committed that has reached us to the point that we are currently at today. That is what I believe in. I do not believe in anything. I do not believe in any God pushing me towards any direction. I do not believe in any God blessing me and my family in any single way, shape, or form. I simply believe that the actions and the decisions that human beings have made have reached us into these decisions. Some people are born in better positions than others. Yeah, I don't believe in any of that stuff. But yeah. God on his way to test a righteous family of 4 by giving them the youngest kid triple, double, quadruple testicular cancer. Yeah, that shit's crazy. And I really don't mean this to again, attack anybody's personal religion. I am simply giving you what my personal perspective is, but again, I do not say this in any way, shape, or form to be disrespectful. But to go back to Konbu real quick, yeah, dude, if you do that kind of shit, I'm sorry. But at that point, anything that you hold near and dear is completely on the table. The reason why we don't attack or fault or put down anyone else's gods or religions, no matter how fucking ridiculous you think the concept is because there are things that you hold near and dear to your being. There are things that you care about, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, whether it's Naruto itself, or any series that you enjoy, or anything that you like to play with, if you like a certain sport, etc. The moment you attack somebody's religion, which again is something that should be held sacred for every individual person that actually does have faith, that actually does care about God, and that actually does view the things that they do within the context of their religion as extremely important. If someone like you is going to attack those things, then anyone can attack your friends, your family, your mother, your father, your favorite series. I could sit here and say and if you genuinely do believe this, that it's ridiculous, I could genuinely sit here and say that Naruto is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life, that it is a garbage ass story that doesn't follow its own fucking themes of hard work beating natural talent or any of that other garbage, because the writer is a terrible fucking hack. I could say that, and there's nothing that you could say to counter me, because at the end of the day, if you're going to disrespect people's religions, people can disrespect whatever the fuck you love. So I would say, do not ever go down that path. Don't even think about it and actually grow up a little bit. Not gonna lie, bro, that cancer joke was disrespectful, to be honest. Yeah, that's probably a little bit disrespectful. Yeah. I believe that people don't like it because they had a reason not to like it and seemed like an underdog, but it's now literally the most dominating thing right now in animation and in all grounds. Yeah. Anime fans are legit geeks, bro. They'll contrive some bullshit and ad hoc responses and I don't know what this is supposed to mean. Some bullshit and give a reason to try and justify why they dislike a series, ignoring the fact that criticism they raise is also true for the series they like. Exactly. Exactly. There is no reason for a person to have... There is no objective reason why a single individual out there should go out of their way to try to just thrash on One Piece, besides the fact that they simply do not care about the series. And like I said, if you don't care about it, that's fine. I'm not telling you that One Piece is the greatest thing ever fucking written. I'm not telling you that One Piece is something that you have to like, or you have to entertain, or you have to even remotely talk about in the slightest bit. All I'm saying is that it, as a series, specifically within the context of power scaling, Naruto loses to Luffy, and that is it. I don't really care about anything else. I don't care. What's this about? Why don't we try living together? That's a question talking to his girlfriend. Kureha Senpai asks on the day he turned 20. Oh, I've seen this. Yeah. And then she gets, like, super fucking drunk or whatever, and she gets, like, very deeply caring about each other, drinking at home and all that stuff. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've heard about this one. I don't care about this one. Dude, there are so many kinds of people that make media worse, starting with excess positivity people. Yeah, there's such a thing as toxic positivity. That's another thing that I'd like to talk about at some point, which is, the concept that people have this innate need to, like, not attack or not criticize things that they love to a point where it does become toxic, where they will attack anyone and anything that even remotely comes into play as an actual viable form of criticism. Now, this is not to say that, like, listen, and I want to make it clear about something. It's not to say that a series can't be beloved by a person, and it's not to say that a series can't be perfect or can't be something special that a person holds near and dear to themselves. But what it does do is emphasize that you as an individual have, to some extent, a level of actual objectivity as a person, that you can look at something you love and say, okay, this might not be something that, like, this might be something that I genuinely do love, but there are a couple of issues with it that I do sit here and say, you know what, it's not the biggest deal, I still love it. But at the same time, you can also look at those issues and say, you know what, and if you're not really thinking about things from, like, a more in-depth perspective, you can also look at something, for example, let's look at the new Spider-Man movie. Some people really love it and have no issues with it, and I think that's completely fine. Some people, like myself, think it's alright, not the best movie in the series, but it's an alright movie. I genuinely did enjoy it. Some people say, you know what, I didn't like it a lot, but you know what, it's not that big of a deal. Many people liked it, just my take, it's not the best thing ever, not the best Spider-Man movie to come out, and some people outright regularly hate it. And I think all of those opinions are fine, but the issue comes from the idea or the context that people overall have that people overall seem to view their perspective as the true ipso facto objective one, and I just can't stand that at this point. I'm not talking shit, but as a person who got their astrophysicist degree, the universe has showed me that God does exist. I was raised Christian, but then I kind of wanted to pursue science, but then science showed me that God exists. The probability is close to zero that something had to force you to do that. God on his way to test you. Yeah. The only thing thick about Sage is the ginormous ego. What are you talking about? Sage of Thick Calves bodied me. When did he body me? I've never had a discussion with the guy, and I think the one time that I tried to, it was on chat. I don't know what you mean. The blood of Jesus takes away the sins of the world. Yeah, you can believe that. Christ is king. Yeah, you guys can believe that. The only thing thick about him is the ginormous ego. Well said. How are you able to distinguish what is morally good and wrong? Simple. Does a certain behavior enact a positive feeling for most people around us? Does it have any kind of negative impact on another individual, for example? You can view things as morally good or morally bad because we as a race that has existed for thousands of years, we as a race understand what things work for a positive society and for a negative society. You can sit here and say that, okay, but like what justifies, let's say, killing being good or bad? Simple. The fact that you're taking away another person's life could be considered as something, especially depending on a context given of you just wanted to do it, can be viewed as a morally incorrect thing because, again, you took a person away from their family, from their friends, from any kind of relationship that they could have had with another individual, and you essentially have removed that person from ever talking or seeing again. Same thing with, like, let's say, giving people charity, for example. You can view the act of giving your own time and energy to another individual, regardless of any kind of monetary expense, simply because of the fact that you want to help someone else out, as a morally good behavior. We know what things are morally good and bad, even if you believe that religion as a crux was the thing that initially allowed people to discern what good and evil is. We now, as a society that again has lived for over thousands of years, we know for a fact that now we now have established what actions are good and bad. So again, you don't really need religion for that. I think that religion in many ways, grace of God, we are not disqualified. Like, here's the thing. I don't think that religion inherently is bad in any way. I think that in many ways it does help create good moral compasses for many people, which is something that I do like. And this is not to say that I'm someone who completely stays away from all forms of religion, because a couple years back, before I even started, I actually used to go to a nearby church to help out my mom with one of her catechist groups, where they would basically have me teach the kids some prayers, some lines for basically like their prayers, right? So like the Catholic prayers, right? Our Father, Holy Mary, all that stuff, right? So like a bunch of like 6 and 7 year olds, right? And I'm not making the joke; those were actually like their age range. And they only really asked me to do that because one day my mom told me, like, yo, we need somebody to just like make sure the kids don't leave the building when they're going to use the bathroom, so just sit in the hallway. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. Then my mom said, well, actually, yo, I don't really speak English that well, and some of these kids don't speak Spanish, so can you help me like teach them the prayers or whatever? And one of the nuns there saw me doing a really good job, so they basically had me coming in for like a whole year just to be like one of their teachers, right? And yeah, I did help teach the kids those prayers and stuff, right? I taught them what the prayers were because I already knew them as a kid growing up, even though I don't believe in God anymore, right? So I'm not saying, like, listen, I'm not some like heathen, some like godless heathen. I am godless, but I'm not some heathen who just doesn't give a shit about religion and is willing to like crack at it and look at it from every single logical perspective. I don't care that much either. I just have no objective reason to believe in that kind of stuff. But either way, I do think that, again, from the stuff that I've seen and learned firsthand, and from the conversations that I've had with ex-co-workers, one of which was Muslim, and we had train rides where we would talk about, we would have conversation about like the Islam and the religion, and how life in and of itself is a test that God puts you through. Every single action every single situation that you're in, both good and bad, is a test from God, etc. I understand where they're coming from, and I understand what, or at least I have a very baseline understanding of what of the kind of mentality that many of these people might have, especially in regards to their faith and what they choose to view as a whole. And in many ways, they even tried to like do this. In many ways, they even want to raise their kids more up in like more Muslim countries or more Christian countries, etc. But the point that I'm trying to get through with all of this is, again, I don't have an issue with it. It's not my problem at all. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I just don't personally have a reason to believe it. I do think there are some good things that come about it. I just don't personally find a reason to ever sit sit here and pray to anyone because then I just don't believe that anyone will ever answer back. This whole idea of manifestation, this whole idea of you pray for something well enough it might happen. I don't believe that. I believe that if I want something, I have to go out and get it. I have to work my ass off to get it, or likely circumstances and people's own free will help me reach that goal much quicker. But yeah. It is true that a little philosophy inclineth a man's mind to atheism, but depth in philosophy bringeth man's minds about religion. Francis Bacon, the father of modern science. Cool. We all sinned against the moral law of our nature. As much as I play around, I do have a degree. I respect that. It is crazy how the Spider-Man movie is making in just 1 week, and I thought the last one was better, but the latest one was pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm happy it's doing well. I'm happy it is doing well. But what about the perspective? What about what makes a perspective objective? Isn't that an oxymoron? Regarding what exactly are you talking about? I'm not exactly sure what you're referencing. Are you referencing the title, or are you referencing this whole conversation of religion that we were having? How did Sage reach those conclusions? Do you remember the reasoning? Is the Bruce guy still talking? He said something about being. He debunked all his takes, like the 9,000 times FTL and Room being an automatic win. Okay, how did he debunk them? Actually, no. Sage didn't debunk jack shit. He had another guy come in. That's not even remotely true, actually. No. I remember watching that. He didn't even debunk a single thing. He just had another guy who watched One Piece say, no, this guy is wrong, and that was it. That was your debunk? What the fuck are you talking about, Bruce? That wasn't a fucking debunk at all. What was the reasoning for those conclusions? Just another guy sitting next to him and telling him, or talking with him on chat and giving him his opinions? Yeah, okay. The new Spider-Man was good, but I don't think it was great like the last two, but definitely better than dog shit coming. I actually like Homecoming. I only heard two opinions on the new Spider-Man. It's either the best on the line or the worst on the line of the Tom Holland movies. I thought it was pretty good. As the Dragon Ball fan, Dragon Ball Super doesn't exist to my eyes. Yeah, that's fair. Even animals like humpback whales have shown a sense of morality, saving smaller animals. Science was my favorite thing when I was growing up. Every time I looked up, I was amazed. Yeah, no, Science is pretty cool. I really do like Science. Brand New Day definitely isn't the best Spider-Man movie, but it is the best Tom Holland movie. All the other ones are mid, in my opinion. That's fair. I like No Way Home. I don't fuck with religion of Christianity. I fuck with the faith. I'm a man of faith. I don't like religion. Yeah, you can also just be straight up. You can also just be a man of faith. You can also just believe in your God and have your own thing. I remember I was having a conversation with my mom about this a while back because a person that I know, we were having a conversation in a car once, and a person that I know, they believe in God, but they don't, and they do wear a they do believe in God, and they do wear a symbol of their belief in it through like I think it's like a cross or like a little like thing that they wear on their side, but they don't prescribe to the actual religion, so they don't go to church, they don't do all of these things. The story of the Bible is a story of reconciliation, reconciling the world to Himself. The problem with I have with religion claims on morality is that people need an unseen threat to not be a horrid person. Then let me ask you, why do you think harming or hurting someone is wrong? Because I'm a pacifist, because I'm naturally a pacifist and I've seen what harming others can do. So how does this connect back to power scaling? No way, shape, or form. Somebody brought up, one of these guys asked me a question about God or if I believe in religion, because I made a comment about it earlier, and we just kind of got into a conversation. What was your biggest takeaway? What was the reasoning you believe that he scales above or whatever? Same, really Catholic though. I think people should find God themselves. Science did really change my perspective, but ironically deepen my faith, I guess. That's fine. Like, again, that's all completely fine. I have no issues with anybody finding stronger faith. And if you you have an incorrect understanding of praying, because you don't just pray for something. When you do, God isn't going to give it to you, but He will create a path for you. Yeah, but you could also just create that path for yourself. Again, no one's creating a path for you, in my opinion. It's just you do that. It's kind of like a mental amp in Naruto. It's like when you from my perspective of prayer, it's not that God's opening anything up for you. Again, there's nothing happening. Again, from the perspective of a complete atheist, it's you are putting in this idea into this faith, this being of helping you, giving you a path, helping you create a path, but you're creating the path yourself. You're doing all of the things you need. You're just putting in all of that weight on a being that you believe in, but ultimately you are the one creating the path. You are the one carving out that path. You are the one doing all those things, which is again why I view it all as silly. If you take away the part of prayer away, right? And for example, someone wants to let's say a car, right? But they obviously don't have a job. They obviously don't have money. Let's say they pray to God for said job, and so they pray to God for said job. So what they do, so again, like you said, God creates the path. So again, they wake up the next day and they say, okay, well, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go look for work, and then they try, and then they end up finding finding some work opportunities. They find the work opportunities, they end up actually getting some callbacks. Maybe they do some interviews, maybe they just get the job right on the spot, and they work and they work and they work and they work. They go in every day. Some days it's hard, some days aren't. Some days they pray to God to help them get closer to that car. Some days they simply go to bed. And so on and so forth, so forth, so forth, so forth, until they earn the money necessary to get said car. If you take away the word prayer from all of that and God, you basically had an individual want a car, then they got up, they went out, did the work for it, and sometimes it was hard and sometimes it wasn't, and then they eventually got their car. They put the faith, because of their faith, they put all of that work, all of that energy, they put all of their thanks, all of their blessings into God, but in reality they did all the work themselves. They just had, again, this being that they have faith in, that gave them the mental fortitude to keep on pushing. Again, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that that's fine. I think that's a good way for people to move on in a world that is very harsh at times for many of us. I'm just saying that, again, all of those things were done, all of those things were physically done without any kind of God or any kind of path being created for them. They had to do it themselves. That's my perspective in all of this. No, God isn't doing anything for you. Things are happening for you because of causality. You are literally enacting and doing things. But again, this doesn't need to be some weird back and forth about disagree, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I really don't care. If you think it really is God, I think that is a fantastic thing. I think that it is good that you guys have something that helps you and gives you the strength to push on, to lay your sorrows, and also to help you move forward from things. I think that's all fine. Anyway, back to power scaling. God wants us to freely choose, not justify hatred or God because free will, not justify hatred or God because free will exists. Yeah. Do you believe everything in the universe is dependent on something else? I believe that every single action taken, and like I said before, I'm going to repeat myself from what I said before to stop this conversation. Every single thing that exists currently, whether it's the phone in your hand, whether it's the phone in your hand, the clothes that you're wearing, the toilet that you're shitting on, the food that you're eating, the house, the room that you sleep in, the internet that you're working on, yes, it is all dependent on something else, but that is because, and everything that thing is dependent on even something more. Everything is dependent on everything else, but it all came from actions and choices made by single-celled organisms, then single-celled organisms, to creatures that were moving into land, to the organisms that were moving out of the water and into the land, organisms that ate other organisms, humans, the organisms eventually evolving into monkeys, those monkeys evolving into humans, a monkey killing each other, a caveman painting a wall, a caveman painting a wall, a fucking, I don't know, some people, a group of people creating a village, hunters hunting a mammoth. Every decision that somebody made across history can be eventually traced towards a potential future where not even a potential future, our current exact understanding of life and everything that we do. Everything that we did at some point, in some way, shape, or form, some caveman taking a dump eventually led to us reaching this point. I don't believe in anything like that. I don't believe in anything coming from some all-powerful God creating us. I believe that every decision was made through some action somebody made, and in all honesty, we are at a pretty good point. For all things considered, I feel like we are in a pretty good point. Not everybody, but I feel like most of us are in a pretty good position. Oh boy, this is really turning out to become a Facebook group. If someone hurt me, it's bad, right? So you can just apply the safe for other perspective towards getting hurt, getting you morality from basic logic. You check out the Weird Bible podcast. Even you aren't a believer, it's entertaining, even if you only view it as mythology. That's the thing, and I'm going to be so honest with you. Whenever it comes to anything whenever it comes to like most ideas of like positive thoughts of weird, interesting perspectives, etc. I was watching this one group that was essentially talking about, I was actually watching like these videos. I don't know if they'll like pop up for me at this point, but they'll essentially, they were essentially about like these group of, I think they were black content creators or personalities who are essentially giving an audience a chance to actually talk and give them conversations regarding specific things in their own life, right? So like some woman brought up how she was she was like, God gave us free will. No, I have free will. God didn't give me anything. I have free will. Don't get that mixed up. I did everything. Every decision I made is of my own volition. Every decision we make is of our own volition. But anyway, uh, they were talking about they give the people like basically like a lot of advice based on like real situations that they go through, but after a certain point they start talking about like, and then you have to come back and be there for God because God always got you. When it got to that point, I'm over it. I am done. I'm like over the conversation. I personally stop caring and I just skip to like the next question. Whenever they start yapping about God, or I skip to like the next person talking, because again, those are things that don't really add any value to me personally. Where is God when a homeless man is starving outside? Okay, let's not go into those things because I know that'll just bring up. Let's start shifting the conversation because I know that a question like this, and not to say that this was bad, Sailor, but like a question like this is usually where we start to reach like a lot of back and forths about religion. I just want to cut that off right there. On your toxic positivity point, I think Dragon Ball Super fans fit the mold maybe more than anyone I've seen, and maybe Nintendo, but they had been accepting slop for a decade and they won't refuse because of nostalgia pandering. That is true, and it's not just Naruto. I'm happy that you also brought up Nintendo. I would say that there's a lot of things that you can bring up for a lot of these groups where it's like the people that stick to something, especially the people that will consistently purchase or engage with a specific piece of media, they are the ones who are likely going to defend it the most, and they are some of the people that enact on the largest amount of echo chambers, which is one of the biggest issues that I have, right? It's like, check out Isekai no Sata wa Shachi Shidai. It's right up your alley. Sure, I'll type that one in real quick. Those people that claim to follow God simply don't. That's why good to have discernment. Look at what God himself teaches. The devil is a master of deception. Yeah, a lot of people, I don't understand when a lot of people had like this whole idea of like, especially when they, I don't want to really talk about like United States a lot, but they did this a lot in The Boys specifically, where like they were essentially having the people that I would assume are more towards the alt-right, that were more siding with Homelander. They always based a lot of their arguments based on like what God would do and this and that, and like God loves America and all this stuff, because ultimately it isn't real religion. It's basically just using the concept of Christianity, and Christianity not as a whole, but in some ways. In some ways, it has reached a specific point where, like, many people do justify their bigotry and many of their negative thoughts by, the Otherworld's book depends on the bean counter. I really, you know what? That's a fucking 5-minute timeout, bro. You really just had me typing that bullshit. I'd say there is way more to it, but this isn't a religion channel. There is way more to it, but I'd rather not keep talking about this stuff, because I know. So is he gone? I was hoping for a genuine conversation, but it seems they dipped out. It's fine. You don't have to worry about them. They came to say what they did, and that was it. I'm in India. We believe that that a human being can become a god by doing good things. That's dope. That's dope. As a human who became an atheist for a little bit, I respect your perspective, Elise. If you ever do come around to just know I told you so. No, I'm never coming around. There's no way. The only way I will ever come around is if a person can literally have God stand before me. I'm not taking anything other than God literally standing before me. Yes, like you said, everything was dependent on something, and then there is God. Yeah, and then there is God. If you think that God was the thing that created all those things, or the thing that like kind of like pushed everything in a direction for us to reach that point, then yeah, that's where we would defer. I think that every single decision, I think that we are at where we're at right now by inherent decisions made through free will. And there are people who believe that everything that exists right now comes from God, who gave us free will, who then again just follows the same exact line of logic. It's all just based on whether or not that God exists. But yeah, the subjective flesh to our spirit is the truth God gave us. Okay, we've been around for 200,000 years, which is nothing compared to 4.1 at Earth. And I do want to ask you to do other ancient civilizations, add high-tech gear. Buckeye blasted into the Stone Age. That's funny. God has no creator. He exceeds regular comprehension. He's not the gods in anime where human authors give us a flat layout. God has no start nor end. He was and always where it will be. Yeah, you can totally choose to believe that. I have nothing to say to that. Pray to God I'd get a girlfriend. Then my homeboy cracked me. Not sure what I'm supposed to take from that. You know what? Maybe God's telling you you're gay. I don't know. And even the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero thing, it's pretty bare bones. I mean, really good for a majority. Don't really care for Dragon Ball and like a small few. And the expensive DLC of the game that's not finished. Yeah, no, the DLC for the game was kind of crazy in my opinion. What was this? That's a crazy. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The people that are super excited about like, Goku, fake Super Saiyan Goku, and Child Goku being in that game. Yeah, those are the fans that the game was designed for. Those are the fans that like, okay, here is slop. Take the slop. Just take it. Everything talked about in the Bible wrote hundreds of years ago is currently happening now. Sure. No more religion talk in the live stream, please. Yeah, let's move the conversation. As a Christian, one thing I find amusing is how common the Japanese depict Jesus and the Buddha as best friends. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets? Wait, Eon's atheist? Yes, I'm 100% atheist. There is no way you can convince me God exists. The last thing I'm gonna say is, isn't this shit about Naruto versus Luffy? It will be about Naruto versus Luffy. This is the last things that I'm going to say on this. So let me just say this. Yes, I am atheist, and no, under no line of logic, under no line of objective reasoning will anyone convince me. So to stop the conversation, none of you will ever convince me with any argument, with any piece of random text, with any whatever the fuck, unless you get God themselves to stand in front of me and perform a miracle in front of my eyes. There is, objectively speaking, no way that I will even remotely entertain the idea that there exists a higher power. But that is pretty much it. Oh no. Oh no, did that plenty. I'm just not gay. Did that plenty. I'm just not gay. That's the best argument. Alright. All I'll say about religion is that coming from a strict Muslim household, religion has become one of the most uncertain and confusing things to me. It is something that I will say this. Again, to wrap up the conversation, I will say this. You are allowed to have whatever relationship you want with your God. If you want to uphold strict Muslim values and you want to do all the things that entails it, you are more than allowed to do that. If you eventually choose to not believe, that is your call. If you want to come back to it later, that is your call. If you want to convert to any other religion, that is your call. It is your free will to do whatever it is that you want. I'm just letting you know. Do not feel pressured, whether it's by friends or family. Do not feel pressured to believe in something that you have uncertainties in. And if you have some uncertainties, maybe even go talk to your local priest, your rabbi. I don't know in Islam what you would call a religious figure. I don't exactly know, but whomever the religious figure is in whatever church you go to or whatever place of worship you go to, maybe even go talk to them. Maybe they might be able to clarify things for you. Again, make your own decisions for you. Do not let anyone make a choice for you. And if you want to just have your own personal religion with your own God, relationship with your own God, because it is something that is very personal, also do that, okay? Okay, so we're going back to Naruto versus Luffy. Enough of these conversations. I'm gonna be really, and I mean really hope you just stop looking and entertain the religion combos. I'm just kind of frustrated. I'm just here for scaling. Dude, I got you. We're gonna stop talking about that stuff, but it's fine. Yeah, let's stop talking about religion. A17 from DBS versus Super 17 from Dragon Ball GT. I'd probably say 17 from Super. Just better all around feats in my opinion, considering the fact that he literally scales to Super Saiyan Blue Goku, who a much weaker version of Goku was going to wipe out a macrocosm by clashing fists with Beerus. Did that plenty, I'm just gay. What did you think about the Luffy endgame video? I thought it was fine. I'm never really into like the whole like speculative talks of characters becoming more powerful. I did like the idea that you were talking about with like Maki and like a certain level of like ascension that a character can reach. But I'm not really personally, I don't know. I've never really been into the idea of like trying to predict what happens next, just because, not even out of like the sake of like not even out of the sake of like I could be wrong on it or whatever, but more so just from the perspective of like, I don't know, there's a lot of things about One Piece that I thought that like, Oda genuinely has surprised me or taken me in taken the story in a direction that I personally didn't know about. So it kind of pushes me to like this idea of like, I don't know, man, Endgame Luffy has just like a couple of different ways that it can go. Like, one of my things was just like, yeah, like, what if the One Piece is literally just a One Piece bathing suit and it gives Luffy his full power? I wish I could have a proper con with you, but I will leave the religion. Thank you for the conversation. Yeah, no, it's all good, man. Listen, my mom's been trying to have me have a conversation with her priest from, or with her pastor from like, no, priest. Yeah, priest. So, man, she's been wanting me to have a conversation with her priest for years to see if he can like drop me back in. I'm telling you straight up, there's just no way anyone's gonna do it. You should check out Discord. I trust Oda. Yeah, I trust Oda. I'm just being honest. Like, there's just no way I'll ever believe in anything. There's just no chance. I've got to have a conversation with that. It's funny as fuck. This is funny as fuck, dude. Yo, I can't wait to see Tama clash with fucking Emu. I cannot wait to see Tama clash with Emu, bro. Tama's really about to be the most powerful conqueror's hockey user of all time, bro. I'm telling you guys straight up. That is funny, dude. That is really fucking funny. Do you like toes more straight? Fuck you. Alright. Otama can probably control all the tailed beasts. Somebody asked me before a question about the tailed beasts versus, I think it was Ragnar. Dude, Ragnar. Ragnar, I would argue every single tailed beast, including Kurama, full power Kurama, Ragnar is 100% wiping the fucking floor with, bro. There is no way I'm gonna be convinced that Kurama's beating Ragnar, bro. I'm gonna be so honest. Somebody made another comment about, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Where was that comment? And even Dragon Ball Sparking Zero thing is pretty bare bones. A few expensive DLC. Was that it? Okay, I think that was the last one. Oh yeah, she can control all of the tailed beasts. Yeah, all she does is just put some of her cheek stuff in their mouths, and yeah, she just has a full display of like tailed beasts. One Piece has a lot of themes, mythology, and narrative to theorize from. It does. It does have a lot of things to theorize from, which is why I never really tell people like to not do it themselves, right? It's just that it's too much. There's too many like facsimiles of the way that this stuff could go down that it just makes me genuinely believe that, man, there's too many ways that Oda can go about this. Like for example, Gear 5, Joy Boy, the concept is depicted from an actual mythological being that exists within I might be wrong on this, but it's either Caribbean, Jamaican Caribbean, or like Southern, like, I'll just say for now Caribbean folklore. I think it's like Caribbean folklore. Otama solos Naruto, by the way. She's controlling all the Biju. I'm late, but Sparking Zero has been one of the most buggiest game experiences I've ever had, and people still play. They complain about the DLC, yet they're still going to buy it anyway. Yeah, because people genuinely only give a flying shit about continuing to support the thing that they love. And it's very simple. If something brings you love, if something brings you happiness, why the fuck wouldn't you just continue to play on it? A lot of people don't really ever think about this, but like I do. But it's like when a person plays like a series or whatever the fuck, or they have nostalgia for something, they don't think about things in a to a very decent degree. Most people, I would argue, think about things from a just immediate perspective of how it makes them feel, which is why so many people have strong opinions over Naruto or so many opinions over One Piece, right? Whether it's positive or negative. That's the issue, right? That's the thing that we need to focus on as individuals, right? When it comes to a game like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I didn't think it was that buggy to begin with. I've had a lot of fun playing the game, but it is just Dragon Ball, and that's what it is. And it is a very good Dragon Ball game in my opinion. But when it comes to like the DLC and stuff, or like again bringing back Kid Goku or putting in Super Saiyan Goku or whatever other fuck ass characters they're gonna throw in, it's why I keep saying like the game is just made for Dragon Ball fans. It's made for the ones that are going to go out of their way to quite literally put out whatever garbage, who are going to go out of their way to buy whatever garbage is put out. It doesn't matter what it is. The next character could be Pan from Dragon Ball. It could be $5 to play as fucking Pan, who has no transformations, no cool abilities, no cool attacks, nothing. They might give her Giru, and Giru might attack for some of her special moves, but that is it. And she might be a good character, or a bad character. No one cares. You're not going to see anything interesting. You're just going to see the same characters that they brought up over and over again. And you know what? That's fine. It is what it is, dude. Honestly, I think One Piece might be something Luffy can use to achieve his actual dream. A prediction: destroying the red line to connect all the seeds. I don't know. I think Luffy's dream is to make the world's biggest party, and if he becomes the Pirate King, he can literally invite everybody on the planet because he will have circumnavigated the entire planet. Like, circumnavigating the entire planet would mean that Luffy would have basically met most people on the Grand, or would at least have like gone through most of the places on the Grand Line, so you can kind of just, you know, invite everybody to a party. I don't know, man. I think Luffy wants to throw a fucking party. The One Piece must be a meme or something, maybe slander. Monster vs. Godzilla versus full power Kurama. I would give it to Godzilla, especially after one of the directors for one of the movies specifically said that Shimo can cover the entire planet in ice, and Godzilla should be and Pink Godzilla should be as powerful as Shimo. She's like a planet. There's like some statement that kind of says verbatim, Godzilla from the Monsterverse is planetary. Kurama, on the other hand, there's nothing that implies he's planetary besides the turn the world to ash statement, which is not. Oh, from the Dominican Republic? Are you sure? Anyway, which then creates a bit of a situation where it's like, well, there's no feats or statements that even remotely imply Kurama can like life weight the planet in one shot. So I don't know, man. But again, there's also kind of nothing that implies Godzilla could also just blow up the planet in one shot. So I don't know, man. Usopp with Ragnar versus Emu with Kurama, who wins? I don't know. Madara with Kurama? I mean... maybe Usopp, yeah. What do you think about the Sandman connection? I'm not really interested in the endgame, but I saw similarities and thought it was interesting. I wasn't buying it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't buying it. I don't know. I was like, maybe not. I'd be surprised if it was. It's mainly Afro-Latino culture for Joy Boy. Got you. Please check memes Discord. Send a message trying to grab your attention. Apologies. Sure. Memes, you said? You want me to check out memes? What the fuck? Okay. The Five Elders drawn by Gege Akutami. Yeah, this is definitely Gege Akutami art style. Holy shit, these look sick. Yo, these look so sick. Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Holy. Please read the message about Emu's sword. Emu sneaking... Okay. Emu sneaking out to meet Akainu before leaving for Elbaf so he can get some of Luffy's disses to mimic. What the fuck? Was this made with AI? How the fuck did somebody do this? I think I've actually seen this cartoon. Is this like Woody Woodpecker, or is this like Droopy? That's gotta be like Droopy or Woody Woodpecker. One of those two. Okay, what was your question? Shah Kriya Slam Nafis. Uni Naruto is becoming more mainstream. I don't know why. Because now that One Piece, I don't know. I'm throwing a long shot. I'm throwing some dirt at the wall. I'm throwing some random shit at the wall to see if it sticks. It's one of the metas that people are trying to push. My idea is maybe because One Piece fans have been finally, like, defending the idea that One Piece characters are by far and away stronger than the scaling that Naruto presents, especially throughout a majority of its story. They have to kind of go with the, that's Vigil amazing, amazing motion tracking. Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking, motion tracking. Damn, I thought it was AI. I thought it might have been motion tracking, but I'm not sure how to do motion tracking yet. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm gonna be so fucking honest. It really just is one of those cases where, like, they're probably just trying to push the Naruto universal meta just to, like, try to, I don't know, some people see it, they think it's facts because a guy who talks about the series that knows a little bit more than they do talk about it, so yeah, they just push it. Maybe it's because One Piece fans are pushing more, a stronger metas now, so... maybe that's the reason. I don't know. I thought someone once predicted Loki's fruit would be Nidhogg or Zoan fruit, just be using Nordic mythology as a base in the comparison to what was happening in Elbaf. That's actually pretty close. That's actually not bad. Yeah, sometimes you can actually just get... sometimes you can truly be right with your theories, though. Naruto fans always make up fake feats when arguing. I've noticed this. Like, it's like they didn't read their own story. No, they did. They just remember it wrong. They just remember it incorrectly because most Naruto fans only pick up random panels and put it out to talk about them. They don't actually look at the full context of what's going on. Tournament Chi-Chi, Devilman, and early tournament Goku. Nobody cares about this, not even false SSJ, but it has DBS on the title. That's a part of the toxic positivity. Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to tell you? Again, it has Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, so yeah, that's all that's going to happen. People are going to buy it because it's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I mean, they are still animals. It's mostly a joke. Her devil fruit makes animals listen to her. But yes, the Biju are chakra, so I personally don't think it would work. Maybe they will. Who knows? They're made of chakra, but also living thing that is bestial. It's a weird thing about them. Alright, because I was about to say, like, her devil fruit overrides them. There was a statement about Godzilla's atomic breath as the most powerful phenomenon in the natural world, which would include space shit like black holes, supernovas. Well, it says the natural world, which might just be talking about... it might also just be talking about the natural human world. It might not be referencing... It might not be doing some... okay, like, this is coming... okay, look. The statement comes from an English-speaking man. Unless you take natural world to specifically mean the literal fucking context of the universe, I don't think that he literally meant the... I don't think he literally means, like, black holes and supernovas and all that shit. Because that would mean that inside of Godzilla exists more powers than the fucking Big Bang. You know what I mean? Like, let's try to keep it to, like, let's try to not use, like, the word Sekai to mean, like, universe or society, right? Because Another way of interpreting is in the natural society. You could just say it's like natural society. Like, I don't know, man. Uni Naruto is tough. I disagree with it, but I disagree with that, but sure. People are pushing it because One Piece is getting the respect it deserves, and now Naruto fans are mad that their favorite verse is being weaker. It's like the only thing they have to stay off of. It's like the thing that most Naruto fans had at least the one thing to make themselves feel better. 99% of the anime community still believes that Naruto is above One Piece. I would not agree with that at all. The fact that, okay, I'm going to be honest, Peter, listen, you have your biases, I have my biases, but unless you somehow have a way of, like, tallying every single anime community as a whole and coming to the conclusion that it's 99%, yeah, there's no way people are believing that anymore. A lot of, and I can, again, I brought up 3 different Facebook groups before, and I can bring up multiple comments and multiple posts where you see a lot of people now commenting that One Piece characters are beating Naruto characters. So it's a matter. Also, I'm gonna delete this because this is a spoiler. This is a. I'm not timing you out. This is a spoiler. Don't do this. Don't post these kind of things. That is a spoiler. The Naruto fans are becoming more sensitive. No, it's just that One Piece has beaten them in every single facsimile that matters. Worldwide popularity, Western appreciation, because we got like Luffy literally in 2 years back to back in the Macy's parade, and most importantly, manga sales. Like One Piece is bigger than Naruto in basically every potential facsimile that companies genuinely care about. And the one thing Naruto fans had for the longest time was power scaling because nobody scaled One Piece. And now, guess what? One Piece fans now have power scaling as well over Naruto. So, guess what? It creates a whole issue and a whole narrative that, well, now they kind of get mad because it's like, well, our show is just kind of falling and lagging behind, and we still don't have those 6 recap episodes that we were promised like 15 years ago. I used Kaguya's Genesis realm, stated to be a hostile universe, and Kaguya scaling to it via using the Shinobi Alliance chakra to make it, and Naruto was able to amp them 3 times. No, she got the whole planet. Naruto only amped like 40,000 people out of potentially billions or millions, depending on how many people you think exist. Guess what? All the Straw Hats have infinite due to being able to move in a rainbow mist. Yeah. I don't know about faster, but Big Mom couldn't kill a guy who had less than a day of lifespan left. Fair. Don't spoil it for the people who haven't watched it, though. Still don't like the way they introduced her. Yeah. Imu isn't even at full power. No idea. He easily Continental Plus with scaling for sure, and this isn't even at full power. Mind you, Shibai has a profile. Yeah, you can see it all the time. Like, people basically just constantly bring up Shibai this, Shibai that, because like they kind of have to at this point. They kind of have to rely on the guy that went up another thing. Yeah, these people are One Piece fans. So they're One Piece fans because they agree that One Piece characters are stronger. Like, that's the thing, man. You can't sit here, like, okay, I'm sorry, Peter, but you can't also just sit here and say that everyone who says that One Piece characters win are just automatically One Piece fans. Like, it's really not that simple. It really just doesn't boil down to that big of a thing. Like, I'm a Naruto fan. I would still say Zoro beats the fuck out of Naruto and literally cleaves right through him with a sword. Like, what the fuck? Does that make me a One Piece fan? I am a One Piece fan, but that's not the reason. The reason is because I have scaling that likely shows it. Have you seen that they've colored Loki's lightning purple in the anime? Yeah. Yeah, I guess Loki now scales above Kakashi's purple lightning, or whatever. Which she scales via use the Shinobi Alliance chakra to make it. You have to use chakra to use a jutsu, by the way. Just because she can create a ball that can disintegrate a planet, even growing for some time, doesn't mean that it physically... Whoa! What happened? Whoa, what happened? Is my connection really that bad? I'm connected... How? The fuck, am I not connected to the LAN right now? I should be. What the fuck? Hold on, one second. I'm having really bad connection right now, but it says I'm connected to LAN. No. Diagnose network and option settings. Ethernet is connected. What the fuck am I having such issues? Stream health? Well, whatever. You can use the Majestic Attire Susano stated to be the strongest offensive, which would be above the ETSO, right? Naruto's still by far the most watched anime? Clearly not. Clearly not. You'd have to give me an objective statistic for that. Her dimension is never stated to be a universe, even if there is a fact, it was due to hacks. Naruto feats are continental. Naruto moon level feat was a hollow move, and usually character, okay. The MonsterVerse is an American IP, so it's not a translation thing. Also, it was stated that the pose was base energy output was comparable to a black hole. Okay, so that stated that I'm not even gonna fight it. Okay, you got it. I didn't finish my sentence. There you go. Is it? You got it then. I'll take back what I said. You got it. If they stated that it's comparable to a black hole, then sure. Isn't Kaguya's dimensions also chakra? It makes sense. It's called expanding because if it weren't, there'd just be a huge hole in a series, in an ambiguous size dimension. It'd have to expand to actually erase all of it. Yep. As a One Piece fan, and I'd actually be upset as a Naruto fan too if my favorite series got a sequel like Boruto. No, they are objectively fucking biased. I'm in these groups as well. Yeah, so you're saying that they're objectively fucking biased. How can you prove that they're objectively biased? What if they're actually using feats to back it up then? What then, Peter? Like, come on, Peter. You and I have had these conversations. 99% of manga sales come directly from Japan, making them completely irrelevant. Why does things happen? Yeah, and most of Naruto's sales also come from Japan. Yeah, we looked this up earlier. Naruto sales. Naruto lifetime sales. Yeah. Naruto is estimated media to grow nice time sales numbers. Like, okay. Most of Naruto's 250 million plus copies are circulation across 46 countries. Only over 37 million units sold across the Storm series. Where is it? Copies. And 37 million. I need lifetime manga sales numbers. Let's see. 25 billion. There was a thing that we had looked up before that gave me a different value. What the fuck? Let's see. How many copies has how many copies has Naruto sold? Yeah. Yeah, most of their sales also comes from Japan. Does that make it irrelevant? Bro, there are people that think Luffy can beat Siren. Like, come on, okay? And who gives a shit? Peter, the problem... you know what, Peter? Listen, you and I have spoken for years. I'm just going to be honest with you. You are biased, bro. You are biased. You're going to sit here and then say, well, it counts for Japan because, oh, listen, look at this. Japan has over 153 million copies sold, but 97 million of them were sold outside internationally. So that literally means that most of Japan's sales... Most of the sales for Naruto are in Japan. Are you gonna say that makes it fucking irrelevant? Don't do that shit, bro. You say that every single person who says a One Piece character wins is biased. You say that there are people out there who think Luffy can beat Jiren and then say, come on, bro. Like, can you at least understand that the things you say come across as biased? And can we at least agree that you are also biased, dude? Because everything you say legitimately comes down to if a One Piece fan agrees with it, then it has to be biased. That is inherent bias. You're literally not even thinking the idea that, like, well, maybe this person has never read both series and just looked at the character and said, I like the green-haired swordsman over the guy with two weird-looking eyes. And are you gonna say they're a One Piece fan and that they're biased? Come on, man, you can't do that, bro. At least have the capacity to say, hey, man, you know what? I am a Naruto fan who's biased. And I do think every single person who believes One Piece is stronger or One Piece character wins is biased. You talk to Naruto like it's the little bro to Naruto, which is literally not true. Yes, there's a little bro to One Piece. It kind of is, actually. It kind of is, and I'm not even talking. I never once referenced Naruto as One Piece's little bro. I've literally never referenced Naruto as One Piece's little bro, but guess what? It is a series that came out after One Piece, only a couple years after One Piece. One Piece is still more successful. One Piece still outsold Naruto. It outsold Superman. What do you want me to tell you? I'm not even telling you this shit because I'm a One Piece fan. I'm telling you this because, Peter, I am giving you the objective fact. It did come out first. It has outsold it. It has outsold Superman, and it is more popular across the world. That's not even a biased thing. That's me literally telling you the objective numbers that both series come to. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other. But the problem is, and if you just look with some level of introspective objectivity towards yourself, you would see that many of the comments that you make are biased. Especially against One Piece and its fans. And that's okay. But at least admit, you know what, Eon? I am biased, and I don't like One Piece, and I don't respect the series. And you know what? I will respect it wholeheartedly. I'm not, and that's it. But come on, man. Every time it's something regarding it, you notice how you always go for the Naruto side, regardless of what the conversation is, regardless of what the topic is, regardless of what we're talking about, whether it's power scaling or anything. You do it, bro. Every single time. You never once side with One Piece in anything. That is bias. That is inherent bias, whether or not you admit it. Anyway. Definition of a double standard or just indeed being biased. And that's fine. A person can be biased. It's just at least be aware that you are biased. I'll say it. I'm biased against Bleach. I do not think Bleach is a well-written story. Outsold every single anime ever created, so it's the best ever? I've never said that. I said it outsold Naruto, and I said it outsold Superman. Notice what you're saying. Notice that the words that come out of my mouth are coming across differently from the things that you are writing. And no, I never said One Piece is the best ever. No, I hate obnoxious, toxic One Piece fans. And you are being an obnoxious, toxic Naruto fan. The same can be said. No one here is trying to be a toxic, obnoxious Naruto fan or a One Piece fan or anything like that. No one is doing anything like that. No one is saying that it's the best thing ever. Yeah, I will never do that because One Piece fans deserve that. Cool. So then you're admitting you're biased. Fantastic. You have a hatred for One Piece, you don't like it, and that is completely fine. I don't think there's an inherent issue with that. But the problem is that I don't think you can see that you have a bias against this, and then you can't even remotely see past it. You probably have an overgeneralized assumption of every single One Piece fan, and guess what? I would fall into the category of One Piece fans, but the things you say, I clearly don't fall under. Nor do many of the people in these chat. The problem is, you just don't like the series, and that's okay. Internet, yes. Okay then. So then that means that there are internet fans. We are people in the internet. We are people on the internet. We are not a separate thing from the internet. We are a community of people, like any other community across the internet. There are, in the exact same way that you can argue that there are obnoxious, toxic Naruto fans, you can argue the exact same thing for Bleach, for Hunter x Hunter, no, I fucking love One Piece. I hate One Piece fandom, most of them. Well, then you are clearly putting too much energy into that. I love One Piece. I don't give a fuck about the fandom. I like so many series. I don't give a fuck about the series. Separate the fandom from the IP then. Learn to separate the fandom from the IP. The fandom has nothing to do with it. The fandom has nothing to do with it. The Naruto fandom has nothing to do with with the series as a whole. Hunter x Hunter fans have nothing to do with Hunter x Hunter. My Hero Academia is not a bad series, even if its fan base is full of a bunch of degenerates. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Stop generalizing people. I'm not saying it's better. Not even 5 minutes ago you said I'm not saying either is better. Also, hi, what's up, Jerome? That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Stop correlating people and generalizing all of them. Life becomes a lot better when you realize that overgeneralizing a group of people is only going to make you more upset about something, when you in fact have to look at it and say, okay, in each one of these groups, I'll just show you guys, in each one of these groups, you have people that downplay One Piece and you have people that downplay Naruto. You also have people that make stupid ass posts. You also have people, I'm not doing this, bro. You also have people that make stupid ass posts downplaying a series, a stupid ass post talking about Luffy loses to water, Naruto loses to getting a giant fox being removed from his body. Like, everyone does this shit. You have toxic Bleach fans making some bullshit comment about Ichigo soloing all of Dragon Ball. You have toxic Dragon Ball fans saying that it's the greatest thing to come out since sliced fucking bread. We've already had this discussion earlier on stream, but the fact that I'm trying to get you to understand is that, again, it's not a group of people, it's individuals you just don't like. You don't like the One Piece guys that go out of their way to say, yeah, it's the greatest thing of all time, it's the greatest series ever. You don't watch One Piece? Read One Piece. Watch One Piece. Live One Piece. Breathe. Fuck those people. Fuck them. They are not people you need to talk to. Ignore them. Learn to move on from what people say. You know how many comments I see daily that says the Raikage or Killer Bee or Sakura could beat Luffy? Guys who use lightning and blunt force damage can hurt Luffy. And you know how many times I think maybe I should leave a comment? No, I'm not going to leave a comment. I don't even think about it. I just leave. I just go away. Have you heard of Reverend Insanity? What's Reverend Insanity? Let's look that up. Reverend Insanity. It's a novel? No, I haven't read it. I haven't heard of it. If it's a novel, I am probably not going to watch it or read it. I need pictures in my books. Saw a poll of which big three community is the most toxic, and everyone said One Piece, but everyone was shitting on One Piece fans. Like, talk about hypocrisy? My point exactly! It's all one massive fucking echo chamber. That's all it's ever been. It's all it's ever been. It's all a massive echo chamber, people. That's all it is. Move past these things. You are all above being a part of this shit. You are all above it. You can be above it. People say Ino can beat Luffy with the mind transfer jutsu. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, yes. And you know what? They have every right to believe that. It's a stupid little thing. It's a stupid little interaction. It likely would never happen. Luffy would blitz the fuck out of her. But at the end of the day, I have friends with One Piece fandom. It's just my personal experience with more than 100 people or more different people was horrible. And that's fine. But I'm telling you, that's 100 people, Peter. That's only 100 people. You know how small 100 is in comparison to the number of people that exist on the planet? Or the number of people that are in these groups? That's the point. You can believe whatever the fuck you want. I'm not telling you not to, but stop acting like you're not biased when you clearly are. That's all I'm saying. Stop acting like you're not biased when you clearly are. And if you are, and if you can admit it, that's completely fine. But at that point, we both realize that at the end of the day, the issue isn't the fact that One Piece is a weak series, or that One Piece is a bad series, or that Naruto is a weak series, or that Naruto is a bad series. The problem is that if someone says Zoro beats Naruto, you automatically peg them as a One Piece fan, even if they've never watched either series. Eon, Reverend Insanity is the most overrated edgelord Reddit. I'm 13 and this is deep shanja slop ever written. Most times it can be, not speaking from experience. By the way, Rasengan is Juraneg, so this shit is just irrelevant. Is this dude still talking? Who the fuck is that? I don't know. What the fuck are we talking about? Are you one of the CC Divinity? Are you? Oh. CC Divinity, real quick. Are you like defending Naruto or defending One Piece? I don't know. I see so many names so many times that I just kind of start forgetting who the fuck is who. I think I've seen like at least like 2-3 divinities here. That's why. But what if Ino did connect the mind transfer jutsu? Fantastic. What do you think she's gonna do? You put Ino and Luffy inside of a building, and Ino puts the mind transfer jutsu on Luffy. What do you think she can do? You think? Does she know how to use haki? No. Does she know that Luffy's weak to water? Probably not. Probably wouldn't know about it. Is she gonna, what's she gonna do? If she tries to kill herself? If she's gonna try to end her own life? Anyway, the new Spider-Man movie was great. Yeah, it was fine. If she tries to end her own life, if she tries to end her own life, like, let's say with, like, Luffy, while inside Luffy's body, she would end, whatever happens to his body happens to her body as well. She has to pull herself back before he technically is unalived. So I don't know how the fuck she's doing that. Yeah, like, no, nothing happens. She connects the mind transfer jutsu. You would have to basically have Luffy be placed in water, and she would have to have him, like, placed somewhere with, like, a nearby water source, and it has to be deep enough that Luffy can't get out of it. Have you seen Obsession? I have not. I mean, One Piece fans are toxic as fuck, but every fandom is, to be honest. Like I said at the start of the stream, every single fan base is toxic. There is no fan base that does not have a couple of chuds aping around because they either want to piss off another fandom or because they want to say that their series is the best series. It doesn't matter what series it is. It's not about One Piece being a toxic community or having a toxic community. It's always been about... It's always just been about my favorite anime character can beat your favorite anime character. And because my favorite anime character can beat your favorite anime character, my series is better. That is the logic. That is the mentality. Consistently, every single time. There is no deviation from this. I have spoken to hundreds of people, dozens of people, enough people throughout my time on YouTube in the last 3 years to know that there is no way, in any way, shape, and form, that it isn't that. It is this childish, pathetic, genuine, little contrived problem that some people have where the series they don't like is stronger, therefore the series they like is stronger, therefore it must also be better. Because of that, it's better. To Naruto fans, Naruto will always be better than One Piece because it looks cooler, because it's ninjas, and because it's stronger. And the stronger does matter, because if it's not stronger, some people will lose their shit. It's like, for example, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna tell you guys straight up. I used to be like this too. I used to think 3-4 years ago, man, if somebody tried to argue that Sakura could beat Nami, and I didn't know at the time how to fucking argue against that, I would sit here and be like, it would feel shitty. It's like the character that I like, the better written character with a cooler power set, is losing to some random fucking fodder ass chick from Naruto that it literally just got written to be strong for no fucking reason, and you never see her do anything impressive throughout most of the series besides like 2 specific arcs. Yeah, that felt shitty. That would feel shitty on the inside for me like 3, 4, 5 years ago. That would have been really fucking shitty for me. And so I say that. Disregard my previous question. I just remembered was able to kick her out. Yeah. What I'm saying is I understand where people come from, because I can tell you straight up, if somebody tried to argue that Aizen can beat Madara, yeah, that would feel pretty fucking shitty on the inside. Does it matter? No. Will it have any actual impact on real world situations? No. But the simple truth of the matter is that knowing that a character you like loses to a character that another person a character that you like loses to a character that you absolutely despise feels fucking shitty on the inside, and a lot of people just genuinely do not comprehend why that is, but they understand that is the feeling that they get. Sakura could break out a mind transfer user. Haki's a sixth sense, so should be able to use it to overtake it. Yeah. One Piece has endurance feats to survive Jiren Egg. Look at the Jiren Egg blows Kaido endured, or how Whitebeard could fight with part of his head missing, several holes in his torso and proud and covered in magma. Yeah, there's also the fact that Doflamingo could literally survive with a massive... Honestly, the worst power scaling fandom is easily the Saitama fandom. Listen, and that's the thing, right? You brought up Saitama real quick. That's the thing, right? There are a lot of people, for example, I'm glad that we can agree on this. And I'm not saying that I think that they are the worst power scaling fandom, but let's bring up One Punch Man, for example, right? It's right here. One Punch Man has a great way of showing scale. One Punch Man has a lot of characters that are super duper tough. Is this supposed to be Garo? Yeah, it's supposed to be Garo, I'm imagining. Well, I guess they spoiled that from... Who's this? Who's this chick real quick? I'm sorry. What were we talking about? I opened up One Punch Man for a reason. What the fuck was the reason? There was a reason why I opened up this fucking series. Alright, I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna go to like an early chapter and I'm just going through like an early chapter. Alright, Punch 20. Okay. I don't care about any of this garbage. Yeah, keep going. Let's talk about One Punch Man for a second, right? People will constantly tell you that One Piece characters are weak as fuck. What chapter does she show up in, by the way? I'm asking for a friend. We have people out here acting like, oh yeah, One Piece characters have terrible fucking designs and they look absolutely garbage, and One Piece characters look goofy and whatever, but then they'll literally ride a guy. Yeah, but then we'll literally ride a guy who is essentially an egg-shaped bald fuck, and they'll be like, oh, this guy's one of the strongest characters in all of existence. A guy who wears red gloves, red boots, a fucking yellow suit, and a cape is just running around and wiping out all these powerful characters, and nobody even remotely disagrees with the scaling. People will sit here and tell you that Saitama, this guy again with this goofy ass fucking face, is one of the most powerful characters in all of existence, but then when you see a character like Foxy shoot a beam of light that is stated to be light multiple times, you know what people say? You know what people say? Look at what this guy's doing. Look at what this guy's wearing. He's literally just sitting there reading a comic, and yet he's one of the strongest characters ever. They'll say that he's a gag character. They'll say that he's supposed to be a parody. To be fair, he is bald. That adds aura. I'll get to this in a second, right? Because I'm not saying that bald characters can't also be cool. Just before we were talking about one of the Castlevania villains. who I actually do like quite a bit, and he's bald. But my point here is, people will look at Saitama and be like, he's one of the strongest, it doesn't matter what he looks like, he's super duper powerful, he's doing all this crazy shit, he can one-shot a fucking meteor, and all this stuff, but especially when he gets, like, all serious or whatever, but as soon as a One Piece character does something interesting, hey man, all of a sudden, all of a fucking sudden, oh man, a One Piece character does something interesting, but they look like this. But oh man, Foxy the Pirate exists, and all of a sudden, every one of his feats is completely and utterly fucking irrelevant. No matter what Foxy does, no matter who he is, no matter what he does, it doesn't matter. Saitama can look like this, and oh man, everything is viable, everything works, the scaling makes sense, everything is perfectly reasonable. But as soon as Foxy does something crazy, it doesn't matter anymore. And then when you push Saitama, when you push One Punch Man fans to like the brink, they'll literally sit here and tell you, oh man, Saitama is a gag character. He can't lose because he has Toon Force, because he does all of these crazy things, even though One Punch Man isn't a gag comic, even though One Punch Man is not a gag comic, even though One Punch Man is actually as a series that is meant to be taken seriously. Even if he doesn't have any fucking abilities or whatever, we cannot sit here and deny what the character does. Crazy how people will take Platinum Sperm feats more seriously than One Piece. Yeah, they will literally take a fucking sperm and say, oh yeah, the feats are fucking insane, One Punch Man is fucking crazy, its speed feats all make sense, but when you look at Luffy dodge a beam of light casually, oh yeah, no, he's sub-relativistic. As a matter of fact, those aren't even real beams of light because they were replicated from Kizaru, so they can't even be like a real, like, you'll go through every fucking mental gymnastic possible, bro. One Punch Man, and then they'll say, well, Saitama's a gag character, Saitama's like one of the strongest gag characters of all time. He could probably even beat Bugs Bunny with his gags. Mind you, a series has guys that look like this, but nobody gives a shit, nobody will argue, nobody will even remotely tell you the characters are, or that the aura, or whatever the fuck of the series doesn't exist. And that's what I'm talking about, and that's the bias that I want to get at. Look at One Punch Man 162, Saitama does some Looney Tunes stuff, and they love it? Yeah, and they love it, and it still adds to the scaling. And you'll see why Saitama fans completely argue that it's a gag series, he can't lose to a gag character, he's not a gag character, no, he is a gag character, he can't lose, but then they'll be like, oh, and you guys know for a fact, those of you that pop into my streams regularly will know for a fact, then when you argue with a Naruto fan, they will say, well, it's not, well, Luffy's a gag character, we shouldn't take anything seriously. Okay, really? So we're just not gonna take anything seriously, right? So really, we just don't take anything seriously? So I don't have to take Saitama punching this guy and making this massive explosion seriously then, right? Because Saitama's a gag character according to some people, right? Like, this is the shit that I'm talking about, right? It's like, it doesn't matter what the series or what the context is, if they will use whatever logic to make it all seem whatever it is, and at the end of the day, it's just proving to be some bias. Oh, Garo's out here super powered up, and oh, some people took a moment to like, oh, get out of there or whatever, and they literally just stand there waiting for them to run away so they can continue their fight. It's like, well, I guess we shouldn't take it seriously anymore because there was a moment here where they were allowed to run away. Come on, man. This is the shit that I'm talking about. This is the shit that is inherently disingenuous, and why many people just cannot have an actual conversation about how to power scale, what power scaling should be counted as, and why you should use Bobobo instead, since he's a gag character and he actually rewrote DBZ backstory. I'm not going to use Bobobo because that falls too deep into it. I'm using One Punch Man because people argue that he is a gag character. I'm aware that he's a parody character. I'm aware that none of these scenes are actual, I'm aware that all of these scenes are meant to be taken seriously, but the reason why we use Saitama is because for every fucking reason that they'll say that Saitama wins a fucking fight, they will use the exact same reasoning to say that Luffy does not count as an or that One Piece characters do not count as actually having scaling. That's the problem that I have. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I will catch you guys all later. I'm gonna go step out. I need to go for a walk. I do need to take some time off. I will be back tomorrow. I'll probably yap with you guys tomorrow. As a heads up, I do have a procedure that I have to get done on Thursday, so I'm likely not going to stream on Thursday. I'm probably just taking the full day off. I don't know if I'm going to be... I do not know personally if I'm going to stream on Wednesday, just because I can't really eat the rest of the day. But yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you guys just feel good. You know, feel good. Have a good rest of your day. Keep moving forward. Keep treating people with kindness to an extent. I didn't even see the One Punch Man overly downplaying. Where is this from? I'm not saying that the One Punch Man fan base is downplaying it. Let me rephrase, just to be clear. I am not saying that the One Punch Man fan base is specifically using this. What I'm saying is, One Punch Man fans will argue that it's a gag series. You will have people argue that Saitama, look at how goofy he is. He has to be a series, but everything is still taken seriously by a majority of the fan base, power scaling the power scaling fan base. But then you have people disingenuously use every single reason why One Punch Man can be taken seriously, or why it's great, or blah 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 blah. They will use all the same reasons as to why One Piece scaling doesn't count, it shouldn't make sense, and why it shouldn't ever be taken seriously. I've had people argue that One Piece is too much of a gag manga to take any of their feats seriously, but then people will argue for One Punch Man, not saying the same people, but there are also people who will argue that Saitama is a gag character, and yet everything still follows through and everything still matters. That is my reasoning. In the fight, he sneezed so hard that he erased Jupiter image. If a One Piece character did it, it's goofy and not serious. Exactly. If a character in One Piece sneezed away a Jupiter-sized planet, yes, exactly. People will 100% sit here and feed you this garbage, pathetic logic that all of a sudden, oh, the feat should not count because, oh, hey, the feat shouldn't count because, oh, hey, it's One Piece. It's not a serious series. It's a gag series. I'll look at it. They would sit here and say, bro, come on, he's just sneezing. You can't tell me you actually believe that Usopp is sneezing away an entire planet. Yes, bro, I do. Because Usopp did sneeze away an entire planet. When Saitama did it not count? Is it a gag manga now so it doesn't count? My point's exactly. Those people, you should, I feel like genuinely telling people like that to just sit down and shut the fuck up, go to the corner, sit there, because the adults are talking about power scaling. And you know what? I'm going to throw that into my video. I'm going to say it at some point, and if you disagree with this at some point, sit down and shut the hell up. I really don't care. Your opinion is invalidated to me. This is a Naruto versus One Piece stream. We have other topics, but that's typically the main topic. The fuck are you talking about? Can you explain why getting hurt by an attack means you don't scale to it? Oh, by the way, the Bahamut fight was fire, nearing Odin. The Bahamut fight was fire, right? You liked it? The Odin fight, in my opinion, was not as great from a giant battle standpoint, but I think it was still pretty good. I think Odin was pretty chill. Usopp sneezed away a planet. The number of punches is irrelevant, whether or not Saitama beat Boros in one punch. I want Luffy's final fight to be some Gurren Lagann shit where he's throwing galaxies around like toys. If for no other reason to see the antis tie themselves into knots to try and downplay it. I would love to see that, bro. I would actually love to see that. I'm telling you, just give me the giant slingshot thing that I said before. Grab the red line, makes giant hands, grabs the red line, puts it on his thumb, and then slingshots it out of the planet with Emu on it or some shit. I think that would be so awesome. Saitama farted so hard he launched himself like a rocket into this chaoter, whatever the fuck, yeah. Gaban might be... Okay. Can you do me the kindness of never posting a spoiler again? I'm just gonna time you out for the rest of the stream, for like another minute. It doesn't matter if I skip the panel. It doesn't matter. I think I love large scale fights. I love large scale fights too, but I'm done for now. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, my stomach was cold, so I was holding it in, but then that flash startled me and I farted. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, he did that. Anyway, yeah, if Usopp farted across the dimension, everyone would count it as like a totally fake feat that doesn't count and is completely stupid, and One Piece fans are smoking glue. Anyway, guys, I will catch you all later. I will catch you all later. Peace out, please. Peace out. I don't think Rasen Shuriken is Juraneg. It's just small needles. Yeah, no. The only people, by the way, just to clear this up, the only people that say it's Juraneg is because some random fucking power scaler, I'm looking at you, Swag Kage and or Seth the Programmer, said that Rasen Shuriken was Juraneg when in fact it's not. It's not actually Juraneg. If your skin is tough enough to handle whatever attack pones you think each of those tiny little needles have, you 100% can tank it. Just look at the third, Raikage. He literally tanks the fight. It's not Juraneg. It wouldn't have mattered, and he was hit by an attack that had a positive affinity against his own lightning armor. It had a positive affinity against lightning armor and it still tanked it. So yeah, no, it's not Juraneg. Do not let anyone ever tell you it's Juraneg. It objectively speaking is not. It doesn't just bypass normal durability. And what it does is it sends tiny little needles through your cells, and those cells, because they cannot handle the damage, are essentially just slashed up into little bits. But Kakuzu still fully had a body. Kakuzu still had a full body. Kakashi... Y'all saying technically it was more than one punch is being pedantic. Yeah, that is being pedantic. I will also agree. That is being pedantic. He is not technically a one-punch man. He cannot defeat people with a single punch. But anyway, see you guys. Catch you later. Peace out.